Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. We got Terry, Rob, and Caleb here. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Terry.
Boomer Caleb. Boomer. And we are coming at you from the beautiful Podcast Palace in Norman, Oklahoma.
Where we are not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma.
But we do have eligibility left. We want to let everybody know that we got a great podcast coming up for you. We're going to be talking about the Big 12 Championship, 5 in a row, college football playoffs, bowl games, what is it, Rob? ESCCPN? I can't say that very well. Rob's a pro at saying it. And also, we got a, big treat for you. Later on in this podcast, we will have JY, formerly of the Football Brainiacs, now with Trench Warfare Report on the podcast. I don't know what he wants to talk about. I know it's OU football, but during, I think, the fourth quarter, I get a text from JY that says, if we win this game, I want to be on the podcast tomorrow. Is that cool?
It's always cool, JY. Always, buddy.
So I'm like, yeah. So I think he saw some things because he and I kind of text back and forth during the game a little bit. So he saw some things I think he was getting a little frustrated with. So I'm interested to hear what he wants to say. But main thing is we need to give a shout out to all of our partners out there. Tailgate Connect, Dan Donnelly, the Sooner fan from California. His last tailgate.
He's not a bad guy, folks.
He's not a bad guy. His last tailgate is this Saturday. Guess where he'll be?
He will be at
Army-Navy
in Philadelphia.
Navy. All right.
He said he's in Maryland right now, flying back to California, and he'll be back in Philly by Saturday. So, but go to www.tailgateconnect.com to find Dan can hook you up with the best tailgates across the country. Last one, I guess, college-wise, is this weekend, and then, of course, the bowl games.
Bowl season may be the best time of the year.
Yep.
In my opinion, it's better than March Madness.
Oh, yeah. Everything's better than March Madness because it's basketball. But
Right. Madness is awesome. Shut your mouth.
So, yeah, bowl season, then there's, obviously the World Series.
Yeah. College baseball playoffs.
Girls beach volleyball. Oh, wait.
But Dan's also, he's hooked up some pro tailgates. So you got the month of December with the pro game still going on, that if you're going to be somewhere watching a pro game, check out tailgateconnect.com. He can hook you up with a pro tailgate. Also, Team Bar Finder. College football season is over, but if you have a favorite pro team, hockey team, basketball team, Team Bar Finder can help you out. If you want to find the watch parties near your...
Wait. You didn't say soccer.
Well, it's because I think he does have soccer on it, actually.
Oh, okay. Oops, all right.
But he can hook you up with the watch parties. Dave Lamb, another California Sooner and a Sooner alum, you can download it from the Apple Store or on Google Play, or just go to teambarfinderconnect.com. teambarfinder.com to find the watch party for your favorite team near you. But also, if you have a bar that you go to and you want to put it out there, you can put your favorite bar on there to have people come and watch your favorite team with you as well.
You know what I think we should put out there?
What?
A GoFundMe account so we can go to the bowl game. Yeah.
So
I'm poor.
Yeah, or if anybody wants to start a GoFundMe account for us, there we go. How about that?
Or if there's a sugar mama out there, I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah. Rob needs a sugar mama, and I'll just ride on the tail. Man, that's some fancy socks there, Rob.
Oh, well, thank you.
Look at them. What are those? Blue, black, lime green, lime orange.
Yeah, you bet got it.
Dang.
Little Argyle. Yep.
Going all GQ on us here with the
my
socks.
Sunday go to meeting socks.
And also, like I said, we'll have JY on here, but go check out trenchwarfarereport.com, where you can learn football from one of the best. And, not just... He doesn't look at the running backs and the receivers. He gets down in
boys.
He gets down with the big uglies and talks about what's going on inside there. So
they may have the best nickname, the Hog Molly. Isn't that the
The
best
Hog
nickname?
That's pretty good.
Like, do the running backs even have one?
No,
I
they're
don't
running
think
backs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Hog Molly.
Yeah. So Oklahoma beats up on Baylor.
With overtime.
Went to
Scored.
overtime,
Yeah.
30-23, but basically, with the exception of 4 plays, it was a butt kicking.
Yeah, we held them under 200 yards outside of those 2 plays. I mean, you can't take those 2 plays away.
No.
But the defense held them, what was that, 135 yards or something outside of those 2
Yeah,
big plays.
they ended up with 265 yards total, but I mean they only had 29 or 35 yards rushing, and two of
good
those
showing.
And 2 of those plays came off. And what I like about Alex Grinch too, he didn't throw his players under the bus. The big touchdown throw,
Yeah.
said that's on me. I said I had them in the wrong set, the wrong everything.
Well.
That's on me. So hey,
And they were lucky enough to execute.
yeah. But Caleb, he's the fortunate one to have scored free tickets, free hotel.
Yeah. It's a fun time. With the
Better atmosphere this year or last year with Texas?
It was like the whole top half was empty. Like it was not nearly as full as it was last year. So last year was much better.
So you actually got out of your hotel room and went to the game this time?
Yeah.
Not like OU Texas at the Cotton Bowl this
No.
year. You made it to the game.
I went to the game.
Now I was concerned because I get a phone call from Caleb about 9:00 at night, and he thought he was in the same hotel as the Baylor Bears, and wanting to know if he should go pull the fire alarm at like 2 a.m.
I'm glad you decided not to
Well,
do that.
it turned out it was the Renegades.
It was the Dallas Renegades, but I'm telling him no because you can go to jail for that, and that's like inciting a panic. And he goes, but if I tell them I smelt smoke, what can they do?
Right? I thought.
If that works out for you, you just let us know.
Yeah,
Not
but-
that we're going to go do it, but
We went to the hotel bar, which I would never do that again. 'cause
Yeah,
I
Caleb learned about hotel bars.
Yeah. I got like 6 drinks. So it was $100. That was nice. And then I went to the bar and we saw those Renegades. They had a big XFL sign. Apparently, we ran into Bob Stoops' childhood best friend, and he had stories to back it up. So it was that was fun. It was a good time.
Bob didn't come in and have a Coors Light with you?
I was hoping. It's kind of why it's kind of why we stayed there.
Oh.
wrong OU coaching legend for that, I think.
But Barry shows up.
Yeah, Barry shows up. You better get ready.
Yeah. Well, now I've heard. Now you've seen Bob. He bartends now. Well, he was bartending. He goes. I know to Louis on campus, or he used to for lunch, and they said he'd sit there and have a couple of Coors Lights and a burger. And
Also, he's not going for a state official. They hired their coach.
Yeah.
It wasn't Bob Stoops.
was
Shocker.
shocker. But Caleb, what was your thoughts on the game?
It was just like weirdest thing ever. I was more comfortable with our defense out there than our offense. When our offense was out there, I was nervous. I was like, I didn't know what was going to happen. When our defense was out there, I was like, yeah, we're going to stop them. I wasn't worried at all. It's the exact opposite from last year, like how I felt.
Exact opposite.
And now I just keep thinking to myself, what if Kyler Murray just stayed one more year? I mean,
What if?
what if he just stayed one more year? We would be the best team in the country. And I don't think it'd be close. I mean, Jalen's still really good. It's just I mean, Kyler was just a different freak. But I mean, it was a fun game. I mean, it's just nice to see actually a defense that does their job. And Kenneth Murray, I still don't know how he wasn't a finalist for the Buckets because that guy is everywhere.
Yeah.
And my heart almost stopped when he
Yeah,
was on the ground.
everybody's almost did when he was laying on the ground. When I think they did, it was like, oh God, help us. Everybody started saying prayers.
I was watching it, and it looked like maybe he just come down on that guy's foot on his stomach.
Yeah,
I think
he
knocked
knocked the wind out of him. But Caleb brings up a great point about the defense. Okay, here is Baylor's possessions. Okay, every single possession.
I'm going to love this.
Okay. Started their first possession, 4 plays, 15 yards, and a punt. Second possession, 3 plays, -4 yards, and a punt. Third possession, 3 plays, 0 yards, and a punt. So they've had the ball 3 times. Okay, so far,
11 total yards.
and they've had 11 yards, and they've ran 10 plays. Okay, so Jalen Hurts fumbles the ball at the Oklahoma 29. They get 4 plays, 4 yards, and kick a field goal.
Right. That was a win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The next possession, they get 6 plays, 14 yards, and a punt. Their next possession at the Oklahoma 23 after the interception.
Right.
4 plays and a touchdown. Okay. And it was actually a 33-yard touchdown because guess what? We sacked them on 3rd down.
Right.
And
well, you can't give up
on
a
second
turnover
down.
like that.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, they're going to get some points off of it. And then their next possession, 9 plays, 42 yards, and a field goal, and that's when they took the lead.
Right.
Okay, it was 13-10 at halftime. I was like, okay, we got to get a stop coming out of half. They get the ball first.
How were you worried at half that, this is going downhill?
I was super confident at half because like last time we were losing by 25 points at halftime. So where's the improvement?
Right.
I thought I was confident. It's like if we just like they can't do anything on our defense. It's just eventually we're going to break through.
Yeah. Their first possession of the second half, 3 plays, 1 yard, and a punt. Second possession, 3 plays, 0 yards, and a punt. Next possession, 5 plays, 12 yards, and a punt.
So at this point, they're still probably just right under 100 yards total offense.
Yeah.
And this is it, middle third quarter.
Right. And here comes the 2 plays, 75-yard TD. Okay. And that was a fluke. Okay. I mean, according to what, they were in the wrong call. That I'm just saying what the coach said. Okay.
Happens,
It was on him. Their next possession, 5 plays, 80 yards, and a field goal. That was a 78-yard play that Trey Brown
play of the game
flat out ran everybody. I don't think I've seen anybody run down somebody that fast. He was 7 yards behind the guy.
Well, I was listening to Toby Rowland. The guy he ran down is a track star there at Baylor.
Well, Trey Brown needs to run track then.
I guess
because
so.
He ran up. I mean, he didn't just dive and catch him at the feet. He ran up and grabbed him.
He could have ran a circle around him.
So, their next possession, 3 plays, 4 yards, and it was the end of regulation. Their one possession in overtime, 4 plays, minus 10 yards, end of game. That's just dominance.
That's dominant defense.
Okay, so what's going on with Oklahoma's offense? That's the question.
Oof.
Because this, if I told you Oklahoma had held anybody to 265 yards, had 21 first downs and 433 yards, 17 out of 24 for 278 yards passing and 146 yards rushing, it's a rout. What's going on with the Oklahoma offense?
Well, I think Baylor's defense is really good, one. And they saw us 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and like, I think something's wrong with Jalen's hand. Like, he's been right. You heard it, like, I think, because ever since he's heard it, he's fumbled the ball. Before this year, he never fumbled the ball. His first career fumble was game 1. So, I mean, and like, he's had his hand wrapped a couple of times. Hopefully, this few weeks off, maybe have it finally heal all the way. But, I don't know. It's just something weird. Like we're if we're dominant, then I don't know. He's turning the ball over too much.
Well, to me, it looks like there are times when we become one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Where they know we're going to run the ball. That Jalen's not going to remember. I sent you a text that he's going to have at some point. He's going to throw the ball downfield.
Yeah.
And about that time, he did sling one downfield.
Yeah.
And I think it was intercepted. But then I was like, oh well, maybe maybe he shouldn't throw the ball downfield. I don't know. But it just looks to me like we become one-dimensional, and everything that we try to do to get the ball downfield just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to. That's for people smarter than me.
Well, I think our offensive line isn't as good this year.
Oh yeah, that's
okay. They're a lot better blocking for the run than they are
they're
the
run
pass.
Block. They can't pass block.
Yeah, the pass blocking. I mean, Baylor was rushing 3 guys, and that's the strength of their defense was their defensive line.
They gave us trouble all night.
Yeah, and it was I mean, I don't know what they were doing a couple times, and that's what I'm glad JY wanted to come on because I'm sure he's breaking it down now. But it seemed like guys were coming off of guys to help guys out, but with the guy they came off of, nobody took. I mean, there was one play, Creed stands up the nose guard, and you see the the right guard step over to help him out, and Creed comes off, and the right guard doesn't even touch the nose guard, and saw that a bunch.
So they're missing some assignments and whatnot, but it almost seems like, gosh, how do I mean, yes, they're young, but I don't even know where I was trying to go with that. But let me ask you this: if Kyler or Baker, either one, are still here, is the offense the same, or is it better?
Well, I think it's better. I still don't think the offensive line.
I don't think it's that much better.
I think it's better if Kyler's here because he's better escaping than Baker is.
You got to look. I mean, Baker had the same. They had the runner-up Joe Moore Award winner with Baker's senior year, and the Joe Moore award-winning offensive line last year. They're gone. So I don't know. Now, running the ball, and I think that's why we're leaning heavy. It's not. I don't think it has a lot to do with Jalen not being able to get it down there. Jalen doesn't have time to get it down the field.
There were some times that he did.
Yeah, I mean,
and there were other times where he rolled out and he hit the check down when CD Lamb
is running wide open.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not picking on Jalen. He had a tremendous game. He's a tremendous athlete. But I think that if either one of our pure passers, Kyler or Baker, are here, the offense is scoring more.
But what's irritating me is the strength of our run game is that zone read trap right up the middle. Why? I mean, every time we run that, we get 10 yards. Every stinking time.
And there's holes that you could drive a truck
through. Yes, I could run through them sideways on my knees. And it's like, okay, I know you don't want to come one-dimensional. You run it until they can't stop it, right?
Sure you do.
But it's like we run that zone read, boom, we get 11 yards. We run it again, we get 8 yards. Then we try to go to the outside, and it's like, because Baylor took away the outside yesterday. We couldn't get around the end. Jalen couldn't, our running backs couldn't. So we turn around and run it. But then again, every 3 plays, we'd try to get around the outside, but yet we just went 17 yards on 2 plays.
Well, I mean, you got to keep it mixed up, but it did look like we got a little bit predictable at times.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure that Tremonda Stevenson is not our best running back.
Yeah. Ramondre.
That's
it. That boy is.
He's good.
He's big.
We got him another year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a junior.
Yeah, and also, another thing back on the defense real quick. I mean, you don't want to see anybody get hurt, but, I mean, let's face it, Oklahoma took their best weapon away from them yesterday.
Yeah.
Kenneth Murray sacks. The kid hits his head on the and they were even talking about it during the game and afterwards. They're probably going to talk to Baylor about that because that boy shouldn't have gone back in the game.
Yeah. You might be right.
He went through their, quote, protocol. The referee, Rob, is the one who took him back to the side. He ran another series. The referee talked to him before each, and the referee, they said, the announcer said the referee took him to the sideline and said, he needs to be checked out more. He ain't right.
Oh, boy.
So, and then it turns out they take him in, and he's suffering, concussion. So they said, they're probably going to look at Baylor. I don't think it was, I don't know. I mean, you don't want to say that it was, they were like, we can't, him with the concussion is better than what we got, so put him out there. I don't think whatever their protocol was, it wasn't good enough, or whoever did it wasn't good enough. But took their second best option out, and the kid had the one play that irritated me was the one he threw up that looked like a punt.
Yeah,
and Turner Yell slipped because that was an interception. He slipped.
Yeah,
that that was like a Hail Mary. I think that's what they call it. Just throw it down there.
Whoever
and if
gets it kind of deal.
If they down, so I mean, it's like,
if they intercept it,
it's better field position.
Yeah. And then the one touchdown that he threw, how we don't intercept that one too? The dude come right across and just missed it.
I know it.
So that's what I like about the defense was in position on both of those plays to make the plays.
Yeah. And we had opportunities to put that game away, and we just didn't do it.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing the defense came to play, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the defense was definitely the star of the game. I mean, and who would have thunk it, Rob?
Well, we certainly wouldn't have last year, right?
Same team, same players too. Just
Same
crazy.
players. And same players, different mentality, different preparation, different everything. I mean, they don't even look like this. I mean, dude, that sack before the incompletion in the game, they almost killed that kid.
I know. He's like, come on, where's my fourth string guy at?
Right.
Yeah.
Who's the player of the game was CD, right? He was the player,
Yeah.
which deserved. I thought it should have been Redmond. Redmond was everywhere yesterday.
Yeah.
Redmond was a monster.
The whole defense, really. I mean,
Yeah.
some of those guys just, I mean, K9 had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
He did too. Yeah. I mean, it's just, right, started up front like with the pressure, and as soon as he got past them, Murray was right there chasing down, and Murray's so fast too.
Yeah,
he runs
he
on
is.
every way. He's everywhere. I mean,
I really hope he comes back.
the
he's
more,
not coming
yeah, I know, and the more especially if he goes off against LSU and hopefully against Ohio State and Clemson, this is more and more film he's putting out there, and I think right now he's like a first or late first, early second right now. Most people have him, so.
Well, I got to say this much. Okay, as much as I cannot stand Baylor, and maybe it was because of the previous coach, Art Briles.
I like Matt Rule.
What are your thoughts on Matt Rule? Did you see his tweet?
I've seen his tweet. That's the first time I've ever seen a tweet like that
From a coach?
from a coach. So I got nothing but respect for
Yeah.
him and what he's doing down there.
I mean, that team was in shambles. They're almost a death penalty, and he goes there and instantly they're good. That's how good of a coach he is too.
And then did you see the part where they were talking about, his dad is always on the sidelines and his dad gets close to him when he gets out of line.
He starts cursing.
Yeah, when he doesn't say anything to him. He said his dad
just knows he's there.
he gets in his eyesight. He goes, especially when my language becomes bad. He said, Dad he just gets in my eyesight.
Does his dad look like him?
No. But he said he gets in his eyesight just to let him know, hey, it's all right. Settle down,
Stop cursing.
But yeah, but his dad was chewing on that piece of gum on the sidelines, like it was like. But
Man, they really wanted to beat us.
oh yeah,
Like they were trying hard.
Playoffs.
Their fans were salty.
oh yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I got one mad at me because we scored the first drive. It was a long game. And then they scored. He ran down to me, yelled long game to me too. I was like, yeah, it's fine. I started it, but still, people around me were mad though. They're like they almost want to fight him. Like, hey, it's my fault. I started it. He's like, don't fight the guy, man. I talk crap to him first. People were real mad. I was like, geez.
Well, and here's the thing. I want to go ahead and talk about this now, or do I want to talk about it?
That's one more thing fast for the game. They have a NFL receiver, and he had 0 catches.
0 catches.
0 yards.
Yeah,
that guy.
In the second half, didn't he?
Nope.
No catches.
Nope.
No catches.
No
That guy's
catches.
gonna be in the NFL. That guy's really good, and we shut him down, which is crazy. Who was with Motley on him the whole game?
Yep. And Motley was
Covering him like a blanket.
People are with my friend's dad. He hates Motley. I don't know. I guess he's just I guess the years past got burned, but he can't stand Motley. It was funny.
But that's one of the things I wanted to bring up, and I'm again, I don't, not hating on fans, but it gets really everybody in game, I get as mad as everybody else. I yelled at Jalen yesterday, especially when he threw that interception. Okay.
That was just a bad pass.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on, but 2 weeks ago and in the last Baylor game, people were like, we don't deserve to go to the playoffs. I don't want to go to the playoffs. We're going to be, we're going to be embarrassed in the playoffs. We want to be in the playoffs.
I think so.
Yeah, every year.
Every year.
If you
you get your brands on TV, it gets recruits and everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing negative about the playoffs. Even if it's blown, we've been blown out twice. Guess what? We still get 5-star kids for it though.
Yeah,
because we're in the playoff. We're going to be there almost every year.
Listen, I'm a firm believer in any given game or
yeah, you
could.
could. Yeah, well,
I mean, you want to have a chance.
Should K-State have beat Oklahoma?
No.
No.
It's just like that Sugar Bowl
Yeah.
The Alabama was, 30-point favorite?
Yeah.
And we beat that booty.
Yeah. But, this is our team and who we are, and we want to get there now. And, there were tweets out from fans about, if Spencer would have been here in January, he'd have been the starter, and this team would have been 100 times better. You can't say that because you don't know.
I think Spencer would have been bad. I mean, behind the offensive line, that guy's he's small. He's not that big right now. Like
he's getting big.
He's going to, but he's a small guy right now, and I think that offensive line can maybe scar him maybe for a little bit.
Yeah,
he would have hit a lot.
But what I'm saying is
yeah,
we're all excited about the future, but I keep seeing these tweets, out and stuff on, about Theo and, and when I'm excited, but this is now. This is what we need to focus on now.
Plus, this team loves Jalen. Like, I mean, he's like the leader, and it's not even close. Like, I mean, they all rally behind him, and when he messes up, they pick him up. Like, he's legitimate the leader of the team. Like, it's him and Murray, and I don't think there's anyone questions those two guys.
And it's frustrating. Again, I'm going to be the first one when he threw that interception. I'm pretty sure people, on the west side of Norman could hear me. Damn it, Jalen. Oh my, come on. What is wrong with you? Stop doing.
I almost fell over the row.
Yeah, but you know what?
Just dropped down.
I did the same thing. Especially Baker's junior year when even Lincoln said he plays hero ball when he tries to make too many plays. I did the same thing with him. I did the same thing with Kyler last year in the Texas game. It's who we are. But, man, this team – maybe controversial statement here. This team has a better chance of winning a national championship than the last two.
They do. I mean,
because of the defense.
Because of the defense.
That's what's frustrating about this team. Like, this is the first time, most complete team we have, and it's just this. We shoot ourselves in the foot so much.
Yeah, but I mean, people are upset because we're winning games by 3 points and 7 points. We're not scoring that 55 points. I don't care.
Guess what? We won by 3 points, 7 points last year too. It was 55 to 50.
Will they still be upset if we win 35 to 34?
Right. And like Caleb said, the last 2 years we were winning games, 55 to 54.
Yeah. There weren't ever blowouts. Never blew anyone out. We just kept scoring. We had to outscore everyone.
And this team, Gerbic.
Right?
For crying out loud.
Man, what a fantastic year for that kid who wasn't even the starter.
I mean, it's crazy.
He's
cocky, too. I like it. He's cocky as hell. It's so cool.
Because one of the things, Caleb, even though we had a great kicker before, what did you hate?
I didn't trust him. I never trusted him.
Do you trust Gerbic?
Oh, yeah. He's perfect. I instead he's cocky, too. It's another thing. He's just cocky about it. There's another thing, too. I mean, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was just the Georgia game, or I think maybe a game before that. It's just that every time he went to kick a big kick, I was nervous. Like, he missed an Army kick to win the game. I mean, he has a great leg, but it's just something about him that I didn't.
But that's what I'm talking. I mean, we've got the number. I think we moved up in defense now to like the 16, isn't it? Did I see?
I know we're in the top 25 now, which we fixed that before the year.
Yeah,
I thought 70 would be. I've been happy with 70. Like, that's what I thought.
Well, I think that we said pretty much those
60
words.
70.
70, yeah. I think people even said like pipe dream was like 50. I think I was like, I don't think that's gonna happen. That's a lot. Asking a lot. And 25, like, that's just. We have the third best defense here, but
and the top, from the worst to the best in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm. Which I think also not playing OU helps with that. Not playing our offense helps with that. Yeah. Everyone else has to play our offense. So,
well, and there's a whole lot of people out there right now going, "Well, it's a Big 12."
Oh, I mean,
we're going to talk about that too. Because
it's slowly. I say as long as we keep the coaches here, like these coaches we have now in the Big 12, it's going to change fast. It's already changing. I think yesterday's game, and yesterday's game and the LSU game being on primetime, people seeing this team's actually wrapping up. This team's actually doing this stuff. I think it slowly changed that narrative about the Big 12. It's going to take a little bit though, because if you've been bad for that long, it's hard to change that narrative.
Yeah. Okay, you guys are going to have to carry the podcast for a few seconds. I left my phone in the living room, and I put some stuff on it. So,
all right. Just go. So, what was the best player or best scenario that happened yesterday, in your opinion?
In the game, or like the playoffs, overall?
Just the whole game. I mean, the football game.
I mean, CD's run to start the game was amazing. I think he's gonna get caught. He kind of slowed up a little bit.
Does he have any chance to win the Biletnikoff?
I think it's him or the LSU guy. I think the city's gonna win because he has all the highlights and everything.
He should. I mean, he is a beast.
He's so good.
He's a man among boys out there. I mean, it's just ridiculous. That first run, that's his highlight reel. I mean, that's it.
I mean, it's like every play he gets the ball. He gets the ball in his hands. He's just it's different from Hollywood too, because Hollywood is just so fast. But like CD's like he just has moves too. He's powerful. He can break tackles. Like it's everything.
I promise you are not bringing him down with an arm tackle. You're just not.
I mean,
or the first guy ain't bringing him down. Has the first guy ever brought him down?
I don't think so. I saw that the picture of that Texas game when he's surrounded by 5 guys. And he's like, yeah, CD still scored on this play. Like, I think that game yesterday sealed it because of his stats. And like I said, it's national TV, and like I mean, he was star of the game. So I mean, I could have sealed it for him.
I mean, even if he doesn't have as many receiving yards as the guy from LSU, and I don't know that he doesn't, he's better, and you can see it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's better.
Yeah, I mean, CD's like, I mean, he's about a top 10 pick probably. I would say so. I think it all depends on his 40 time. If he has like a 4.5, 4.6.
Do you know what he runs?
I don't know.
CD, they don't put that stuff out.
They don't do it anymore.
I heard from what I understand from people like around his 40 times not like mind blowing. I think if he runs like a 4.5, I think he would be a top 10 pick.
But he's so long, he doesn't look like he's running fast.
He's strong.
Yeah.
And he just catches everything. I don't think does he have a drop it all year? Like he's just.
I don't think he's ever had the one. I mean, it wasn't really a drop; it was low. He should have caught that pass.
He was close.
Yeah, at the end of the game.
I thought he caught it, but
so did I.
Obviously, the replay showed he didn't. But I think he ought to be. I think he ought to get an invite to New York.
I mean, honestly, if anyone should go to New York, it should probably be him. But I think
there should be a receiver. I think there should be a defensive lineman there this year.
Well, I think he will be there. And I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna say it's probably 3 people. Probably Jalen. It's probably Jalen, Burrow, and Chase. Probably. So we'll find out. I guess tomorrow or Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I mean, we all know Burrow's gonna win, and it might be the most lopsided Heisman ever.
And you know what that means?
Heisman curse. Get revenge.
Natty's not Heisman.
That would be hilarious that happens.
Hey, you've heard the deal. Who won in '85? Who what was our quarterback's name?
1985, not Charles Thompson, but Jamel
Holloway. JH.
Mm-hmm.
Who won in 2000?
Josh Heupel, the
JH.
So it's like this is the second year coach thing all over again.
Yeah, you guys got to believe in this stuff, though, right? I mean, this is right up your alley.
I believed it last year.
Do you believe in this stuff, Rob?
Not really.
No, but you're kind of like. Ugh.
I like the story, but I don't.
Hopefully, I mean, but last time I played against a Heisman winner, it wasn't good, and the national championship. So hopefully we redeem ourselves.
I'll tell you something though. If it does happen, then I'm gonna start believing. I'm gonna give me some of them pink crystals and what's the hand reading thing and
tarot cards and
whatever, carrot cake and I'm doing it all. I'm gonna wear the little thing on your head or whatever.
That's funny.
Yep.
No, but there's I know you didn't, Rob, but I will say. I tweeted it out. Rally patio came into effect in overtime. I went out on the patio. I did not move the entire time. I stayed there the entire.
What point in the game did you go out there?
Overtime. Yeah, I was like, got to do it. What happened?
That's what did it.
Yeah, we score. 4 and out. Boom. We had 2 sacks and.
I mean, like what was like 4th down and like 20 something.
But. The Riley patio, because everything else I'd done, I'd repositioned myself on the couch. That didn't work.
That didn't work?
No.
Son of a gun. How did that not work?
Yeah, but there are people, sitting in their floor.
Did Jim lock himself out in the laundry room or whatever it was? And Jim, put yourself in it's the kitchen, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the
kitchen. Get in the kitchen.
But, no, but I mean... people. I know people were frustrated. They're happy with the win. But let's look at this another way, guys. Okay, Oklahoma just won their 5th straight.
Yep.
Okay, conference championship, and they just beat the number 7 team in the country. Okay, and look at what happened with Ohio State. Now, it ended up being different, towards the end. But Wisconsin, the number 8 team in the country, didn't lay down for Ohio State. Ohio State had to earn that win. Okay. Georgia, I don't know what
they got around field. Georgia's offense is terrible.
And Clemson was playing some high school out of southern Mississippi, I think.
Virginia's not any good.
They're still ranked, though.
Well, yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, they're going to the Orange Bowl. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Virginia. They're going to get slaughtered by Florida, by the way.
But, and I mean, it's the number 7 team in the country, guys. Oklahoma beat them twice. Came back from 25 points,
and then had to do it in overtime.
And then and it was a slobber knocker. I mean, both teams. I'm going to give props to Buki, but Buki got smoked.
Oh yeah, he did.
Whew, but that was a hit. He didn't back down.
He's not scared to hit.
Yeah,
he's not big enough to really win those hits.
But there were a bunch of people got smoked in that game.
Hey, you know what's going to be a good game? Baylor, Georgia.
Oh yeah,
right. That's who they got.
Sugar Bowl.
It's going to be a defensive battle because Georgia. I still think Georgia's the best defense in the country. They just couldn't get off the field. I mean, their offense couldn't help them out.
Jake from State Farm.
He's terrible.
He was.
Just imagine picking him over Fields. Like how you Fields is so much better than that kid. I don't know how you. I mean,
it was the khakis. Yeah, he's not very good. But I'm gonna tell you something else. Justin Fields or whatever the kid from Ohio State, he has got a supporting cast. That J.K. Dobbins is a good running back.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know if I'm not sure if Kirby Smart would know how to use him honestly, because I don't think Kirby Smart's not really good at offense. He needs a good guy to use it because they have the talent to be the best team in the country. It's just that he doesn't know how to use it.
Well, they're young, aren't they? Aren't they pretty young?
I think so. I mean, I don't know.
I hope they graduate everybody this year.
I mean, it doesn't matter. They have like 5 stars. I mean, they've been like best like recruiting class like they're with Bama last like in Clemson.
So what do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about the committee crap today, or you want to talk about the
talking heads on ESPN?
The LSU.
I want to talk about who's going to win.
Okay.
All right, now if you talk to David Pollock, we have a 0 chance to win.
You probably didn't get. Did you get to watch any of the ESPN?
Nope.
David Pollock. Okay. David Pollock said,
"Mr. Georgia,
yeah, Mr. Georgia, Oklahoma doesn't have a chance.
They have a chance. He said unless the transfer portal opens.
I told that before.
No, no, Rob, your head's fixing to explode. Okay, he goes, have early signing period now for recruits, right? Have they moved the transfer portal? Unless they could transfer somebody in before the game, they don't have a chance.
Wow,
0 chance.
0 chance.
Pollock.
And no one really argued with them either.
Yeah. Well, Herb Street kind of did.
It happened last night too. Reggie Bush said, he's going to be problems. And Brady Quinn started laughing. I don't think so. I think there's,
it's people that I don't think. Herb Street tried to. Like, hey, it's a time for celebration. And then the other guy, I don't know who he is across from Herb Street. Said, hey, Jalen Hurts has been here 4 times. This offense does average 9 yards a carry, folks. I mean,
it's number one. It's number one offense versus number 2 offense. It's like people acting like where it's like total mismatch. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, Herb Street said something like, "This is the best offense he's ever seen." LSU's. I was like,
"What? This is the best offense."
Yeah. I mean,
why is he all SEC? Oh, because he's ESPN.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just weird. I mean, it's not only him. It's everyone. Everyone thinks that we're going to get just destroyed. So I mean, which I kind of like that. We're like that. I mean, I feel better about this game this year than I did last year. I thought last year we had no chance against Bama. I think we do against LSU.
I like this matchup. I mean, look what Texas did to him, for crying out loud.
Right? Yeah. That
what was it? 38 to 30.
And if a guy catches the end zone, first drive, a guy drops the touchdown pass.
And you're going to tell me that Texas is that much worse right now? Maybe.
No.
But Georgia. I mean, LSU's that much better now.
No, their LSU's highly overrated because the ESECPN machine is got the whole world thinking they're all this. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they could. I mean, they beat us, like pull us out. Like, all right. I guess everyone says they're good as everyone thinks they are. But I mean, I think we have a chance. I mean, this is the team I wanted to play. The team I didn't want to play the most is Clemson. I'm happy playing these Tigers, not those Tigers. Like, I'll play Clemson for not championship. But I didn't want to see Clemson.
Listen,
in the first round.
Caleb, you were probably too young. But back in 1999, when we made the Orange Bowl,
everyone said the same thing too about Florida State, right?
Florida State was a juggernaut that could not be beat.
But they already lost. Didn't they lose to Miami? Or Miami lost to them, right?
Yeah, they were undefeated, right?
No, they had beat Miami. No, yeah, no.
Someone lost. I thought they lost. One game.
They lost. They lost to somebody they weren't supposed to.
I thought it was 2 undefeated teams. I could be wrong, but
they beat Miami.
Said the same stuff.
The same narrative.
Joke. Oklahoma is going to get torn.
Which that one made no sense because that October we beat the number one team like 3.
But they all thought it was. They all thought it was system. It was this. It was a fluke. Everybody was just. Oklahoma's not physical. They're just not. It's.
We should look up the defensive stats for that game because the points
they did nothing.
That Florida State got, we gave them.
Yeah, we gave them. Yeah, it was a.
Hopefully we get that. Me and Kenneth Murray go out there. So you took my boys Heisman. We're gonna get back if we get that clip again.
Yeah, and Heather Dinich.
She's been like every week. She's been poking OU. I mean,
and last responses. Night, yeah. So I mean, it's what she does. I mean, but last night she was like, "Hey, Oklahoma fans should be worried. Wisconsin could jump them." Okay, well today she puts out. You do realize that Utah, that had Utah and Georgia not lost, and possibly Alabama as well. OU probably wouldn't be at number 4. The Sooners needed to win, and they needed help. They got both. And I'm like, I retweeted. I said, okay, first off, be better. Utah did lose. Georgia did lose. Alabama lost twice, and Oklahoma did not lose. Isn't that what we're playing the games for?
Right. Yeah.
If they wouldn't have lost, okay.
Crack bowl over there they're smoking. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. They did lose. They had to win to get in, and they didn't.
Right. She said, which she's no TV. She's normally with Vilma and Mora, so they'll probably have her brainwashed. Mora actually finally today, so he has a defense. Actually,
I think he watched the game.
She needs to go make me a sandwich.
She's. I mean, she doesn't mean anything. Like, it's just. I mean,
she is kind of cute though.
She's like a bitch. She just has to. She's always like. I mean, that's her job to do stuff like that. Someone tweeted about the A&M OSU. Someone put it out. The little brother Red River shootout.
So there
that was kind of funny.
Well, I mean, she's pretty.
But I mean,
obviously doesn't have any brains.
But she said she sits with those 2 guys every day, so they probably brainwashed her.
She looks like that chick that's going to jail for putting her, from the back to the. No wait, what's the show? Family Matters, Family Life, Life Matters, Life, Family Life. Sure. You know which one I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, she paid to have her kids in some kind of a deal.
Oh, yeah.
Aunt Becky.
Aunt Becky.
Ooh, boom. Pulled it right out of the air.
She does kind of look like Aunt Becky a little bit.
Whatever that chick's name is.
Yeah, the one that's going to prison for.
Yeah.
For UFC.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wrong. You can't do wrong things, but come on. She's just trying to give a better life to her kids. It's not like they weren't rich already, but I mean, come on.
But no, I mean it's. And then this morning, and I get it. Okay, let's face facts here, guys. Okay, even if Oklahoma would have been undefeated, we were coming in 4th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe over Clemson. No, because Clemson they haven't lost in 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean.
But Oklahoma was, everybody would have been in a play-in game.
Yeah.
Okay. So it would have. Oklahoma was going to be 4th, but the fact that for the first 45 minutes of that show, after they announced the 4 teams, they never once mentioned Oklahoma.
It's all about LSU, Ohio State, Clemson.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
They had Lincoln on. Of course, everybody was throwing these parties. Oklahoma wasn't throwing no party. Yeah. Oklahoma had the day off. Guess where Lincoln was?
He's in jet recruiting.
He's in an airplane recruiting.
Yep.
Dabo was over there eating pizza with them, which, hey, that's what works for him.
You can't argue with it. He's done it every year to get in, so I mean.
Yeah. But, and then when they did start, basically, and at one point, they basically said last night and also on another deal that, whoever the number 1 team has a bye, it's a bye week. Because whoever's number 4 is going to get smoked.
They said it didn't matter who it was. Whoever's being before is going to get massacred.
I really hope we would win that so we could just rub it in their faces.
I mean, there'd be a lot of people with egg on the face if LSU loses this game. Like a lot of people. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's like, it's just crazy how LSU team give up all these yards and their offense is going off and how it's just so much different from last year's OU's team. Like, their defense is better than last year's OU defense. But it's just crazy how people just ignore that. Like, they gave up 400 yards to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is terrible.
How many yards did they give up to Texas?
A lot. Like, I mean, Ellinger had like 5 touchdowns against them.
Yeah, well, I just happen to have
Well, stopping Burrow is going to be the thing. If we can stop Burrow, we can play with him. I think we can play with him anyway, but
That's gonna be hard to do. Burrow, he just doesn't miss.
He doesn't miss. He's really, really good.
Yeah.
If we can just cover up those receivers, kind of like we covered up Baylor's receiver.
I mean, their receiving core is crazy good. They're like Bama 2.0 pretty much receiving. They're all just young as hell, but they're really
fast,
good.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Ellinger was 31 of 47 for 401 yards and 4 TDs.
Well, Jalen's not going to be that.
But I think we can probably run all. But everyone says their strength is their run defense. So they said, I mean, that's what their strength of defense is. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's not. This don't scare me that much right now. So I mean, it's not like I feel like this. I felt like going into the Georgia game. So how do we get this far without talking about how much frauds Utah was?
Well, first off, Texas. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Texas had 530 total yards on LSU.
That's a terrible offense.
530 yards.
Yeah,
But Oklahoma doesn't have a chance.
That's just. I mean,
well, there's your SEC narrative right there, isn't it?
Even with Ohio State, no matter who it was, like I said, these 3 teams are pretty even, and everyone else is just so far away from these 3 teams.
409 yards passing, 121 yards rushing. They averaged 3.3 yards per carry. They had 37 rushes.
I will say, I mean, I am pretty excited for that Clemson Ohio State game. I think that's going to be a great game. I think Clemson's going to whoop them, though.
You think so?
I think Clemson's really good.
Clemson's is really good.
Yeah. I mean,
and Ohio State kind of showed they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be tough to beat Clemson. They're just good all over the
so
field.
Good. I mean, they're just deep everywhere. So, I mean, it's
Everywhere.
just stupid.
They just play solid. They play solid football, and they got the athletes.
And, like, the quarterback, he's back. He just took – he had a few bad weeks at the beginning of the year, but ever since, like he's been amazing last, like for a while.
Well, they haven't played really anybody.
They haven't, but they didn't play anyone last year either, though.
But they have annihilated
everyone. I mean, after that North Carolina scare, they like kind of woke them up. Like they woke up the sleeping giant, and since then they've just been demolishing people.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, that quarterback's like we #1 pick next year. Like he's really good.
He is good, and really what scares me is that defense because they're just everywhere.
Yeah, I mean they lost. They're like us. They lost their defensive line. They're just back to just dominating everyone. And also, they might have one of the best running backs in the country too.
They're pretty young, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
they're like Bama. They just have people waiting in the wings to take over.
We really need Ohio State to win that. I don't want anybody.
I don't want to play against Clemson again
to get close to our win streak.
Yeah,
and they're a little too close to us right now.
Well, here's the thing. Jack Stone on Twitter, Flapjack Stevens is his Twitter handle. He's a Sooner fan. Public service reminder. Oklahoma's pass defense will be the toughest Joe Burrow has played all year. We are ranked 16th.
That's funny.
2.8 yards per game behind Alabama, but we have played far tougher passing offenses. Oklahoma has not allowed a 300-yard passing game all year.
That's crazy.
Also, he put out total offense, Oklahoma number 2, LSU number 1. Total defense, Oklahoma number 19, LSU number 28.
So they're ranked higher than I thought they were.
Now, passer rating, Hurts number 2, Burrow number 1.
Helped them a lot because Georgia's offense is so bad. And the A&M game helped them a lot too.
Passing defense, OU number 16, LSU number 51.
Like if you just look at this, I guess people just saying eye test, but I mean if you just look at it, like their teams are pretty even on paper. I guess it's an eye test thing, but I mean Jalen Hurts said yesterday. He said the narrative about the Big 12. I mean, he's like, hey, I play in both conferences. This conference is no joke. Like he said yes. I mean,
hold on, Terry. That eye test that we're talking about, it's predicated based off of a system that they've built up about the SEC and how they're so good.
Yeah.
I mean, SEC. I mean, but they have talent. I mean, obviously, like every year they all get drafted. They have there's players everywhere in the SEC. It's just like
I agree. They do in the top, but think about it. What did they go in bowl games last year? Wasn't it like?
Oh, it's because they don't care about that. Remember that?
Yeah.
2-4 or something like that. They went 2-4 and we went 4-2.
Yeah, they don't care about bowl games. Bowl games don't matter to them.
All right, here's the other one. Run offense, Oklahoma number 12, LSU number 50. Run defense, Oklahoma 31, LSU 26.
If OU wins this game, like we're gonna be so unstoppable on Twitter because everyone's just like trashing us.
Yeah.
I mean, if we lose, people are like, oh, it's so expected. That's I guess one good thing about everyone trashing us. Like if we lose, everyone's like, oh, well, it's not like the Georgia year, like we should have won. Like it's just like everyone's like, oh, this is what we expected. But I think if we win this game though, it's like everyone's just like zero chance. They're gonna get blown out. Like it's loud to me.
And here's over the last 4 games, Oklahoma is first in the nation in completion percentage allowed and 4th in passing defense. Our sack rate ranks 14th over the last 4 games. LSU's offensive line ranks 50th in sack rate. LSU's rushing offense is ranked 50th. We got to stop Burrow.
They aren't one-dimensional though, because I mean their running back. Like, if you take that away, they can run. So I mean, it's not just like one to stop the throwing.
But my deal all along is I haven't been scared of the Tigers. I'm looking forward to this game. I think this is going to be a great game, and I think we can win it. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost it, but if you're sitting out there going, I don't even want to watch this game because we're just going to get beat, you're crazy. This is a good matchup for Oklahoma.
This is the best out of all of them.
Win this one.
No.
And now you got another 2 weeks to prepare for
3 weeks actually, pretty much. It's like 3 weeks. It's not till the next game's not till the 14th.
Yeah, but Here, let's go over the first off the Big 12 bowl matchups.
Got the little brother
Liberty Bowl, Kansas State and Navy.
That's gonna be a slobber knocker game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a snooze fest.
Camping World Bowl, Iowa State and Notre Dame.
Oh,
That'll
really?
be a good one.
Yeah, I might watch that one.
The Texas Bowl, Oklahoma State and Texas A&M.
I like that one too. It's a little brother rivalry.
I will never pull for Oklahoma State, but it would give me a chuckle.
Yeah.
It's about the Aggies, right?
The Aggies.
Yeah, Alamo Bowl is Texas and Utah. And Caleb, you're right. Utah got exposed.
Yeah, I mean that was so obvious. Like I thought Oregon was going to run through them, and that's exactly what happened. I think
That's exactly what I thought too.
Sugar Bowl, Baylor and Georgia, and Oklahoma LSU in the Peach Bowl. But
those are all good matchups.
Big 12 SEC matchups right there.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing I want to do real quick, because some of the bowl names have changed, so we got to talk about.
They change all the time.
Here, we got to talk about some of these great bowl games.
They need to go back to their original names.
There's a lot of them though. So
the Makers Wanted Bahama Bowl.
I don't mind going to that game.
Yeah, Buffalo and Charlotte. Have you seen? It's like a high school stadium that they play in.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of room over there in the Bahamas, to be honest with you.
Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl. Kent State and Utah State.
I know Barstool tried to get a bowl, then ESPN exit because they don't like Barstool.
Yeah. The New Mexico Bowl, which why don't they call? I didn't know there was a New Mexico. They should call it the Breaking Bad Bowl.
No.
Which is San Diego State and Central Michigan.
Heisenberg Bowl.
Yeah,
I would go.
I would go.
Blue crystals as a trophy.
Nice.
FBC Mortgage Cure Bowl, Georgia Southern and Liberty.
I mean, even our bowl is PlayStation Peach Bowl. So I mean,
I don't think it's PlayStation.
That's PlayStation 4 Peach Bowl. For PlayStation.
Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl.
What? Why's it got to be cherry? Why can't it be
Cherry
blueberry?
Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl. Florida Atlantic and SMU. The Camellia Bowl, Arkansas State and Florida International. The Mitsubishi Motors Las Vegas Bowl, Washington and Boise State.
Is the Cheez-It Bowl still there?
I don't know. R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, Appalachian State and UAB. Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl.
Oh, my goodness.
UCF and Marshall. SoFi Hawaii Bowl. I'd go to that one. Hawaii and BIU playing in that one. Walk-Ons Independence Bowl.
That's funny.
Miami and Louisiana Tech. Quick Lane Bowl, Pitt and Eastern Michigan. Military Bowl presented by Northrop Grumman, North Carolina versus Temple.
So far, I haven't That was violent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So far, I have not heard any that are like.
Yeah.
No, Cheez-It Bowl would be amazing.
New Era Pinstripe Bowl, Wake Forest and Michigan.
It's in Yankee Stadium.
Academy Sports and Outdoors Texas Bowl. That's Oklahoma State and Texas A&M.
I'll watch that one.
SDCCU Holiday Bowl, USC and Iowa. Here it is, Caleb. Cheez-It Bowl.
Cheez-It Bowl. Here you go.
Air Force and Washington State.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh. What's his name?
Mike Leach.
Mike Leach going to be talking about Cheez-Its.
The pirate.
Which Cheez is your favorite Cheez-It, Mike Leach?
Well, you take the Cheez-It and you.
Now they have the stuffed Cheez-It from at Pizza Hut.
Camping World Bowl is Iowa State and Notre Dame. Serve Pro First Responders Bowl, Western Kentucky and Western Michigan. Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl.
Wait a minute, the Music City Bowl?
Yeah.
Isn't that the one that is owned by, well, maybe not, since you used to be owned by Gaylords, right?
Probably. The Redbox Bowl.
Redbox has their own bowl?
Yeah.
Branch, if you have money, you can do it. Like Barstool actually paid for it, then ESPN axed it. So I mean, like it's just, if you have money, they'll do it.
Belk Bowl.
Who?
Belk, Belk.
I don't know what Belk even is.
I don't either.
It's a company.
Virginia Tech and Kentucky. Okay. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great. AutoZone Liberty Bowl. The Valero Alamo Bowl. Hey, there, guess who's going there, Texas. Nova Home Loans, Arizona Bowl. The Outback Bowl. Verbo Citrus Bowl. Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl. Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
The Gator Bowl?
Yeah, it's now the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
I like the Outback Bowl because either way, whoever wins, you get free food from Outback.
Yeah.
You either get free steak or free shrimp, depending on which one to do.
The famous Idaho Potato Bowl. That would be the worst bowl game to go to.
I believe you're
because
right.
it's in Boise, and it's like 2 degrees in Boise.
And who can look at that field for more than like 2 or 3 seconds?
I still think it's cheating when they wear all blue. They blend it with the field.
Yeah.
Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, and then there's the Lending Tree Bowl, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, the Capital One.
Wait, who's playing in the Cotton Bowl?
Penn State and Memphis.
Penn State and Memphis?
Yeah.
That's a terrible game.
Yeah. Capital One Orange Bowl, Florida and Virginia. Rose Bowl presented by Northwestern Mutual is Wisconsin and Oregon.
That's a fun game, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
The All-State Sugar Bowl is Georgia and Baylor. PlayStation Fiesta Bowl is Ohio State and Clemson, and it's the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Oh, yeah, it's Chick-fil-A. Want to get free Chick-fil-A for a year there if they go.
And I saw a deal today. It's Michigan and Alabama are playing in what bowl, Caleb?
The Liberty Bowl. Oh, no, the Outback.
Is that the Outback?
Yeah.
Who, Michigan and Alabama?
Yeah.
Come on, Michigan.
I mean, Alabama might have all freshmen playing because everyone's like, I don't see why Judy will play that game. There's no reason.
Yeah, or Tua. Of course, Tua's out.
Yeah, Tua's out, yeah. I mean, it's just like, they could be all future players pretty much for Alabama playing.
Well, honestly, though, they should still be able to win.
Yeah, it's they're playing in the Citrus Bowl, the Verbo Citrus Bowl, and they were like,
who's playing the Outback Bowl? I guess Auburn's playing the Outback Bowl.
Yeah,
but
somebody was saying they hope it's in the rider that somewhere that the head coaches must ride in the teacup ride at Disneyland together. Couldn't you see?
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, have you seen all the memes and stuff in the video? Actually, ESPN put out a pretty good video of Saban wanting in.
No.
Oh, there's all.
First time he's missed it since the playoffs been there. And I mean, just face it, they've been crying today if they beat Auburn. Well, they should be in there. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, you're right. They would be.
Well, but this first time he's lost 2 games before in the season.
Probably.
I mean,
because he owns LSU, and this is the first time he actually lost to him. So
yeah, I mean
he owned Alabama when he was at LSU.
Yeah. So it's still weird that he has a statue at LSU.
Yeah, probably. I bet it gets egged a lot. What do you want to bet? Especially by those fans.
No,
they're terrible.
Do you think he'd still be at LSU if he didn't go to Miami?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, that was a dumb decision on his part.
He just want to try the pros.
Yeah.
And then biggest mistake he ever made is that they picked Culpepper over Drew Brees.
Yeah, and why didn't LSU go back after him? Is my
I don't think it kind of came out of nowhere when he came into Alabama.
Yeah,
Well, didn't they have Les Miles and they thought he was the savior?
Oh yeah,
yeah. The Mad Hatter.
He won national championship, I think. I mean, he went around the time Saban came back.
But
yeah, well, it was it Saban's players? I'm not sure if it was.
Yeah, it was pretty close to
Pretty
it.
close to it, yeah.
Pretty close, wasn't it?
Oh, but that's what you do. You know, if you're someone like that, you wait till a great coach with a lot of great players leaves, and you go take over.
Yeah, like Bob Stoops did with John Blake. Right?
Yeah,
So people will say Bob Stoops never won with his own players. He should have won a couple times.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He played for it plenty of times.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the dice just don't roll your way. Sometimes they don't.
It just happens. I mean, you know,
Jace White didn't have a broken hand. We know he probably.
you know, and if you can say DeMarco Murray was out.
Yeah, I mean that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, 04, 07.
And I guarantee you, if you go
08.
back and look at it, Barry Switzer lost more national championships than he won.
Did he?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean,
That's probably right.
you know, I think the Washington game, we'd have ended up if we'd have won that, we'd have been national champions. Even though Washington wasn't, but if we'd have won it,
We would have been right.
yeah, I think the same way when we got beat by Arkansas, had we won it, we'd have been national champions because whoever was there, you know, back in the day when the voters picked the national champions, we'd have been national champions a couple times. Barry would have if he'd have won we didn't won another game.
You know what would be good if we went to the SEC? Then we could go ahead and just claim all those.
You know, and that's one thing, I mean, that I will say about Oklahoma. There's all those, you know, the Reader's Digest title and everything else. They don't claim them. They
Right.
list them as we were,
As
but they
national
don't
titles,
claim
yeah.
them as a title.
Is it 18? Is the number 18? I think it's 18.
Yeah, something like that.
Bama just takes everything right.
Yeah, oh yeah, if it's,
So
you know,
it's a small newspaper in
I mean,
Florida.
Without all those that they claim, they would still have more right than
Right.
everybody else. But they claim like 8 or 10 that are.
yeah, and it's
Jokes.
kind of like the Oklahoma State national title. That, you know, that was some publication back then.
It was a new one. That's what's so crazy about it.
Yeah. But we got a lot of time. We got 3 weeks before the game. So we're going to be doing our due diligence on the LSU Tigers. We're going to have some fun stuff coming up for you guys. Caleb, is there anything else that you want to bring up before you do? Because me and Rob are going to still be on with JY. So
I went to a Brazilian steakhouse, and it was one of the best food I had in my life. It's like a buffet nonstop. You have like a card, and you just put green, and they just come up with you with meats. It's nonstop. You want some chicken wrapped in bacon? Want some lamb? You want some filet? And they just carve it for you right there. And you grab it, and it was amazing.
Thanks, Caleb. I'm hungry now.
Yeah, it was
well, you
amazing.
do know there is a place like that in Shawnee.
Shawnee, there's one in the city too, apparently too.
Yeah.
But still, it was
Fire
just,
Brazilians, and they are pretty good. They
yeah,
just
it's
keep
awesome.
bringing you food.
Keep bringing you
Just-
food, yeah.
You got to love a place that brings food to you on a skewer and just pushes it off the skewer onto your plate.
They just slice it, and you just get like little tongs and pull
Yeah.
it off. And like the sides were all you could eat too. Like, it was just that is Brazilian beer. It was actually like a dark beer, but it wasn't like bitter at all. It was actually really good.
I didn't know Brazilians had beer.
Everyone has beer, Dad.
Everyone?
Yeah. That's why that McNally's like the McNally's in the old Chicago had that around the world thing, and it takes forever to do it because there's so many beers everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that Japan beer one time.
I heard it's terrible. Yeah, that's all. That's the hardest to get through because they're not wheat, they're rice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They-
it's terrible.
Yeah.
Sapporo is terrible. What about those dudes that just ride around on a horse and buggy with that beard that just goes down on their chin? I don't think they have beer. What are they called?
What, Amish?
Amish. That's it.
I
Amish.
mean, they make everything. They might make their own beer. Honestly.
No, they don't make beer. I don't know.
Not that they tell us. I mean, I'm pretty. Don't they explore like religious?
No, they don't because they it's called like Ram Shama or something
Yeah,
like that, where
the kids go out
they let the kids leave
and
Shama
part,
Ramadan?
and
party, and then the kids decide they want to go back or not.
they send them off at a certain age. You can leave.
They leave and go party. Parents they encourage you like to drink, do drugs, all that stuff, have sex,
You know,
and then like if
learn this is what the
you
world
learn
is
outside
about.
this is, and like and then either you come
You got
back
a
or you
certain
stay,
amount of
or-
time to come back,
Yeah,
and if you come back, you're back in for good. If you're not,
you're not.
Yeah, there's a.
So if you come back with a venereal disease and a drinking problem, can you still come back? I don't know. I mean,
No, but once you're there, you can't get any of that. I mean, the disease stays, but the drinking part will be taken care of itself.
Yeah, there's been a bunch of stuff out on like Discovery about it. They call it something, and there's out in like Pennsylvania, there's literally Amish bars, and that's what it's for. I mean, to bring these kids to, and it's ran by people who used to be Amish and that stayed out, going, you got to stay out. This is your life, and
oh wow,
yeah. But they don't make their own beer.
Well, you never know. They might.
They make bread, butter, cheese.
Barns.
Apparently it's all really good too. It's really good stuff. If you ever try it.
Yeah, you remember.
So for all of our Amish listeners, I'm sorry about that.
Well, I mean,
they don't listen, Rob.
Oh,
yeah.
They don't have.
No. If we have any former Amish people, I would be very interested to hear some stories.
Well, you remember what was it? The bowling movie, Kingpin.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was a nasty.
Yeah.
Well, he's hilarious though.
I just milked your cow. We don't have no cows.
Moving right along. Okie dokie.
Anything else? Yeah, but I mean, trip to Dallas is always fun. Like I always enjoy going to Dallas. It's a fun town to go to. Like I said, the Renegades were there and everything. Some big people, like some big boys were there.
Yeah, and also I think didn't your brother call you and talk you off the roof about?
No, he was trying to tell me how to do it.
Oh, he was. Oh, yeah, that's right. He was telling you how.
He said what you should do is like get like a little fire in your room. Like start like
in your trash can.
Yeah, trash can. So they have proof that there's some flames.
Yeah, put a cigarette butt in there. Yeah, that's what David was like.
He was trying to make sure I wouldn't get arrested.
How to pull the smoke alarm and not go to jail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Set a fire in your bathroom.
That's about Dallas is always fun. Like I said, it was Wednesday night. Guy sent me a snap and said his buddy couldn't go. He has to work. He's like, "You want to go?" I was like, "Well, I mean, it's free tickets. We're in the end zone. We'll use end zones where we sat at. It's actually really good seats right next to the beer garden. So just walk back up and get a beer." Yeah, he sent me up Wednesday. Like, "Hey, I got a free ticket." And I was like, "Well, I mean, Dad, what about the hotel? So I got an extra bed. Pretty much everything's paid for. Like they won't let me pay for dinner or anything. Like they said everything." Like,
dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like we stayed like at Hilton, like a nice hotel right next to the stadium. So I mean, it was a nice time. It was fun, and like I said, Dallas is always fun. Hopefully this time we can actually win another game. Do you think Caleb Kelly plays if we go to the national championship?
Yes. How many he played?
He has one more game left. He can play and still get redshirted.
Well, then yeah, probably. But you know what? The emergence of Benito and some of those guys are really doing well.
Yeah.
So if the situation is that we don't need him to play so that we can have him next year, then no, he's not going to play.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just been back. He's been good though. I mean, he's kind of what we needed, honestly, because that Terry guy, he's kind of took his spot really.
Yeah, but he's going to be back next year.
Yeah.
We're going to have a pretty good linebacking core next year.
Yeah.
And we got some 5 stars, 4 stars coming in, plus probably more. I mean, there's that one guy Grimes. Apparently, he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Depending on who you look at, ESPN, he's like top 15 ESPN. I think Rivals, he's like top 20. So I mean, he chose also over Bama. I mean, that shows we're winning defensive battles against Bama. So it's a good sign. I think best thing about this defense is that, from what I understand, the recruits is that they weren't lying to them. Like the coaches said, the defense has to be different, and experience is everything they've been preaching to the recruits is what they're doing. So
yeah. Nick Bonito.
It's the D line. That's where we're short. I think we need
more bodies. Like when we're there,
more
we're
than
there.
big guys up front, you know.
But we have 2 monsters. We have like 3 monsters. I mean, we had 2 legit with Perkins and Redmond.
Yeah, and we got to keep people out of the daggum transfer portal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really think people that are transferring
aren't gonna play. They aren't playing.
There was a big deal about Michael Thompson, but word is that I guess his work ethic wasn't quite.
Yeah.
I'm just right now. Only thing I'm nervous about is just keep Grinch.
Yeah, I don't think right now. I don't think he has any interest in going anywhere.
I hope not.
I heard nationwide that there were 75 kids that hit the transfer portal
Right.
3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, only one that doesn't make me nervous. There's like some rumblings in Missouri because he started in Missouri and stuff like that. So,
well, but the thing again, I mean, the transfer portal, 5th-year seniors
That's
and
fine.
stuff. That's where you're going to get it at. But really, I mean, this is the first really, 2 years of it or a year and a half of it that we're going. I don't think you're going to see players like Burrows and those guys.
Well, it is funny that 3 of the 4 teams are transfer player quarterbacks.
Yeah. But they were third string quarterbacks when they transferred.
Well, Jalen wasn't.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean.
And I mean, Fields should have been playing. I mean, Fields should have been playing over.
Yeah. But I think more than not, it's guys that are frustrated without getting playing time, and we've said it before. These kids, they were the studs in their high school. They were it, and you come to Oklahoma or you come to wherever. Even if you go to Appalachian State, all of a sudden you're not the big dog. Everybody in the room is a big dog.
I mean, Justice Field was #1 player in the country. So I mean, I still don't get why. I mean, I guess it's probably the best thing ever happened to him to leave there because I don't think they know how to use him at Georgia. But he's only like a sophomore too, which is kind of scary.
No. All right, Caleb. Well, we're going to get you out of here, and we're going to talk to JY a little bit.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Boomer, Caleb.
Boomer.
But when I play football, I make sure that I always wear protective gear, such as my helmets and them shoulder pads.
All right, Sooner fans, as promised, on the phone with us all the way from northern Kansas, I guess it is. We got from the Trench Warfare Report, JY. What's going on, JY? Boomer.
Hey, Boomer. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Again, guys, I know Rob had to leave. Caleb doesn't do phone interviews because, I don't know, he's a princess or something. I don't know. He doesn't like doing the phone stuff. Rob's kind of hurt his back and was uncomfortable sitting around here, so he headed home. So it's just for the remainder of this podcast, you got me and JY, which is, it can't be that bad, can it, JY?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you got Rob on injured reserve there, so we'll just have to pick up the slack.
Yeah. But for those of you, I know I've talked about it on the podcast, JY and I have started a kind of a tradition now of texting during games that will go on for the remainder of our lifetime. Because when it works,
we're 2-0.
Yeah, we're 2-0. So
right.
We started it with the Oklahoma State game. I was a little frustrated with the Oklahoma State game because I felt like we were leaving too many points on the field, kicking too many field goals. And JY kept telling me, he kept calling me off the ledge. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like that. I felt like in that game and even yesterday a little bit, I never really got that worked up because the defense has played so well in both games.
Yeah, let's start with that. Okay. This time last year, would you have believed that we would be talking about the defense dominating really the last half of this season? I mean, I know the scores don't show it because, and I think that's part of what the national media's problem is they just keep looking at the scores and not looking at the games. The fact that our offense has put our defense in some of the worst situations the last 5 weeks. But this defense has manhandled everybody. I mean, they manhandled Baylor last night. I mean, or yesterday.
They did.
I mean, we went through the 3 and outs. I mean, basically Baylor, with the exception of 4 plays, did nothing offensively.
Yeah. Well, would you believe me if I said yes? I mean, because if you think back, you guys had me on the podcast there right before the season started, and you asked me for my one bold prediction, and you can go back and look it up. What did I say? I said the defensive improvement is going to come quicker than a lot of people think that it is.
Well, now that you say it, I do remember that. I didn't believe you. No. I'm sorry, JY.
Well, here's the deal. I've always thought, I'm as big a Sooner junkie as anybody out there. I even say that on my website on Trench Warfare Report there in the About Me section or JY Says or whatever it is. I flat out tell people that my side is geared towards Sooner fans. So right. I'm an eternal optimist. I'm a sunshine pumper and all that type of thing. But with that, I'm a Sooner junkie. So I know that a lot of these players were very, very highly recruited. I've always known that they have very good talent defensively. They just haven't been able to put it together until I'd say the second half of Baylor.
Yeah.
really, of the first game.
And the way they put it together in the second half, I've said it on here. If we play anybody the way we played that second half, offensive and defensively, we beat anybody in the country. That was the most dominant half of football I've seen this year from anybody. And I've watched everybody. And for people not to sit and look at that game and go, I know Herb Street praised, Jalen for putting the team on his back and everything else. But, man, that was just a flat-out butt-kicking for 30 minutes. It just manhandle. It was like a high school team taking on Oklahoma or anybody. It was just total domination.
Well, if you look at this season as a whole, right, you go back to the Texas game and you are really close from running them out of the stadium, but we turn the ball over a couple times.
Right.
Then you come back, Kansas State. You should win that game by probably 2 touchdowns, but you end up turning the ball over. You had the interception right before halftime. You had the fumble on the kickoff,
right,
that gave them 14 points, and you barely lost that game except for a bad call on onside kick.
Right.
Then you come back. You're dominating a very good Iowa State team, and you let them back in the game because of turnovers.
Right.
Then the following week, you're doing the same damn thing to TCU, and what do? You turn the ball over, let them back in the game. Then you come out, you play probably your best game from top to bottom against a very good opponent in Oklahoma State, and you're dominant.
And
you
no
turn the ball over.
And no turnovers.
No turnovers.
Right.
And then yesterday, you come out, and in the first quarter, I was texting with you. I couldn't keep up with all the texts. My phone died in like the third quarter.
That's how mine is.
Right. Yeah. So there was a point there where I really doubted whether or not Baylor was going to even score anything.
Right.
And you had the bad protection. Jalen ends up fumbling the ball, which I think that was an incomplete pass, but hey, I'm a homer.
Yeah.
And then he throws the bad interception, and you let him back in the game. Now that gave them 10 points, and you end up winning 30-23. It should have been something like, without those turnovers, it's probably more like 30-13,
right?
30-10, something like that.
Right.
And Baylor's a damn good team, so I'm with you. This team looks as good as anybody in the country when they don't turn the football.
Right. Okay. Here's we did this a little bit earlier in the podcast. So, but Baylor's first 3 possessions of the first half, 4 plays, 15 yards, punt. 3 plays, -4 yards, punt. Third possession, 3 plays, 0 yards, and a punt. And then Oklahoma turns the ball over, and they get a field goal out of it. So their first 3 series, they ran 10 plays for 11 yards.
Yep.
Okay. The second half, basically the same thing. 3 plays, Baylor's first possession, 3 plays, 1 yard, a punt. 3 plays, 0 yards, a punt. 5 plays, 12 yards, and a punt. I mean, that's ridiculous. I
agree. I mean, you look at it, too. I think they had 6 sacks yesterday and 15 tackles for loss, right?
Right.
Now, on average, in a college football game, you're going to end up somewhere between 11 and 13 possessions per team.
Right.
So you're thinking if they get 6 sacks on half of those possessions, Oklahoma's putting them in long yardage, and then you couple that in with 15 tackles for loss. Outside of 2 plays, that one long catch and run where Murray's sniffing in the backfield when they put their third quarterback in.
Yeah.
And the other one where, it was the long catch and run on the screen.
And Trey Brown flat out outran every sprinter in the country. And ran that dude down.
I think he was clocked on Twitter at 21.8 miles per hour.
Jeez.
Which is absolutely insane. Somebody did that sports science thing or whatever, but outside of those 2 plays, guess how many yards the Sooners gave up?
Oh, it wasn't. I mean, I didn't figure that up, but it was like 90 yards, wasn't it? Or even less?
Yeah, it was 85 yards.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was the most dominant that I'd seen them be since probably the 2000 national championship or that game they played against Arkansas in 2001 in the
Cotton Bowl. And then the overtime, okay, Baylor had, ran 4 plays, negative 10 yards, and that was just, they gave that kid no chance in the world to even look for anybody. You know what I mean? It was just Grinch just pinned their ears back and said, "Go get him," and they did. That third down sack, I thought they killed the kid. Jalen
Redmond got him 2 plays in a row, third and fourth down.
Yeah, and we had the deal here, especially me, Rob and Caleb, the drinking the Kool-Aid and all that stuff, which was, it's, I wasn't going to buy in until I saw it, because I bought in with the team and it fell over to the defense, and they have far out, exceeded anything. We're the 20, I think we moved into the top 25 after this game, but we were the 26th ranked defense.
Yeah, they moved up to 24th.
Right.
And they would have moved up a couple of more spots without those 2 plays.
Right. And
now I got into it on Twitter with a couple of guys in the SEC.
Oh yeah.
And one of them, imagine that, right?
Yeah.
One of the guys I consider kind of a friend. I've been on his radio show down there with Alabama a couple of times, and he's a hell of a nice guy. But I got into it with him because they were talking about how Oklahoma's defense is garbage and all this other stuff. But you look at it, 4 of the top 17 offenses in the country are in the Big 12 if you don't count Oklahoma.
Right.
Right? And our defense is still number 24. Now, LSU has only played one offense that is within the top 25 and 2 that are in the top 50, with that being Ole Miss and Alabama.
Yeah.
So, they just, it's crazy how everybody toots the horn of the SEC, but they play no offense in that league outside of 1 or 2 teams.
Oh, now they do. They do now. Right. LSU plays, I heard, Herb Street today said, we've never seen an offense like LSU's. What?
Right.
What do you mean we've never seen an offense like LSU's before? Oklahoma's had that offense for 4 years now.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's like Orgeron has invented something that nobody's seen before. And
yeah, I think you left off the part at LSU, mate.
No,
no, he wasn't going that way.
No, he wasn't. It was. Did you watch the selection show today?
I didn't, because I get so mad listening to those guys talk that I want to throw something, and I've been ready to fight all day.
No,
I haven't said anything to the wife because she thinks I'm crazy anyway, but it's 3 weeks away, and the narrative is already that LSU is the 85 Bears.
Yeah.
Right? And they're just going to roll their helmets out on the field, and Oklahoma's going to roll over and play dead. It's a 3-team playoff. LSU gets a quasi-bye because they drew the Sooners and all this other stuff.
Okay. Did you see on Twitter or hear him what Pollock said? Some people put it out on Twitter.
Yes. That dude, that is the reason I was ready to fight.
And Herb Street kind of backed him off. It's, hey, this is a time to celebrate, And Herb Street really didn't do anything. The other guy, I can't remember his name, across the table was like, guys, Oklahoma still averages 9 yards a carry on offense.
Right.
They're going to give anybody trouble. And that's about the only good thing that was said about Oklahoma.
Well, just for grins, I went back and I looked at LSU's schedule, right?
Yep.
And here's what's crazy about it, right? You would think with all of this fanfare that they're getting, they would have beat Alabama every other week, right?
Right.
These are their opponents: Georgia Southern, Northwestern State, not the one in the Big Ten now, but I think somewhere down there somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. It's like Mississippi Valley State, you
Right.
know, somebody like that. Vanderbilt, Utah State, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Arkansas, who got their coach run out of town
Right.
because they're so bad. Texas A&M, right? So yeah, they skull drug all those teams, right? And I would hope so. I would hope so. Now they beat Florida, who can't play dead in the cowboy movie on offense, 42-28, right? So
Right.
they gave up 28 points to that Florida team that couldn't fall out of a boat and hit water. Now Texas almost beat them at home.
Right. Should have beat 'em.
45. Right. Should have beat them. Okay. Our buddy down there, the quarterback for Texas, threw for 400 yards.
Yep.
Okay. Alabama only beat them, or I'm sorry, they only beat Alabama by 5. They only beat Auburn by 3. And then yesterday, obviously, they played a hell of a game yesterday. I mean,
Yeah.
they're a damn good team. It's hard to go undefeated and 13-0, especially in that league. But they're not blowing elite competition out of the water by 2 and 3 scores.
Right.
They're just not.
Right.
They're not.
Well, see, I knew, I'd already gotten worked up last night because of, what's the chick's name on Twitter that does the college football?
Heather Dennett.
Oh, that woman. I swear.
Yeah.
Like Rob said earlier, she needs to shut up and go make him a sandwich is what he said.
Yeah.
That woman, and I know what she's doing is just, kicking out conversation. Last night she was going, hey, Oklahoma fans, you need to be careful this Wisconsin game. I'm like, are you kidding me? Why would you even say that?
Right. You're not going to put a 2-loss team in over a 1-loss conference champion.
Right. And
give me
and that's one of the things they said this morning when they started off, where they started talking about the criteria. Conference championships is part of the criteria if their records are similar. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so for you to say, and you're the ESPN reporter who covers college football playoff committee, for you to say Wisconsin could get in over Oklahoma is just asinine, because the criteria says when you have a common end, you have a 2-loss team that wins a conference championship and a 1-loss team that wins a conference championship. Guess what? The criteria is going to go for the 1 loss. That comes first. And then today she tweeted out basically, Oklahoma is number 4 by default because Utah lost, Georgia lost, Alabama lost. I'm like, well, yeah, that's the criteria. If you win your games, you're in the playoffs. Oklahoma won their games, so they're in the playoffs. There isn't a X factor in here. If Utah wins, we all knew we were probably out. Maybe. I think we may have jumped them. But if Arizona State doesn't beat Oregon and Oregon ends up winning, we were behind Oregon. We weren't going to jump Oregon. But those teams lost games. And I went into watching it going, you know what? It doesn't matter, because Oklahoma, even if we'd have beat Kansas State, would have been number 4.
We would have been.
Yeah.
We really would have been.
Yeah. So our loss to K-State doesn't matter, other than us having to, have things happen and teams lose, but that's part of the playoffs. But if we'd have been in the same boat sitting here going, Oklahoma's number 4, and we'd heard all the same stuff, maybe a little bit of praise for Oklahoma going undefeated. But, and I get we've got problems. I mean, we got a turnover problem is Oklahoma's problem right now.
Yes.
But yeah, it was. I didn't get upset because I just said I went into it knowing what they were going to say, and really, they didn't say as much negative about Oklahoma. They just didn't talk about Oklahoma. It was all. Yeah. It was all the the Clemson and Ohio State and LSU, and I kind of figured that.
Yeah, and Clemson is the one team that scares me the most.
Yeah.
Just because they're kind of insulated out in the middle of nowhere in South Carolina. There's not a lot of media coverage out there. They're not in the SEC, so they don't get the pass that everybody else gets, like the Alabamas of the world.
Right.
And things like that. They're very similar to us from the standpoint that they just don't get that SEC love like everybody else, right?
Right.
Now, I think the narrative was that Oklahoma's gotten in the past few years and they've lost in the first round. So, all things equal, we need to put the Pac-12 in there because of all the, the population on the West Coast. It drives ratings, and at the end of the day, you got to think that ESPN is broadcasting both of the semifinal games. They broadcast the college football playoff selection show every week, and they got a product to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to make people think we need to put on our tinfoil hats, but like most things on earth, you follow the money, it's going to lead you to where you need to go.
And seeing that's why I thought, they called it the market correction of putting Baylor at number 7. Okay. I'm one that believes they put Baylor at number 7 because Oklahoma was going to jump Utah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Utah, if they would have won, if they'd have beat Oregon, they beat Oklahoma and them are similar. They beat a 13 ranked team, and the Oklahoma beat a 7th ranked team. So we were going to get the bump because they didn't. I hate to agree with Feinbaum. They didn't want. Nobody wants Utah in the. Now, if it had been USC, that's a different story. That's a brand.
Yeah. USC, UCLA, Oregon.
Right. But Utah, the Utes. I mean, nobody wanted to see that. I mean, and like I said, I mean, it drives, brands drive it, that's, it's sad to say, but it's the truth. I mean,
well, and to that point, I think that's why there needs to be an 8-team playoff.
Right.
And I say that because the narrative was all week long, or the second half of the season, really, Utah was going to beat, Oregon in the Big 12 in the Pac-12 championship.
Right.
And that Georgia was the number 4 team in the country, and that them and LSU were 2 of the top teams in the country. And, if Georgia wins that football game, then both of them get it.
Right.
Which is not okay in my mind, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But you get there, and both of those teams got blown out. You get blown out, Oregon blows Utah away, and then LSU blows Georgia away. So by having 4 teams only, how do you ever know if you put either one of those teams in there? Let's say Utah doesn't lose, that they barely squeak by Oregon, unless you seed the top 8 teams, just rank them however. Use the old BCS formula or however you want to do it. But rank the top 8, give the home field advantage in the first round.
Right.
And people are going to be lobbying and jockeying for those top seeds because I guarantee you nobody wants to go play a first-round playoff game on the road.
Nope. Especially
nobody wants to go to Clemson.
Or Death Valley, or
any one of those places.
Yeah. Nobody wants, and nobody. Yeah, it doesn't matter where it's at. You don't want to go there. But and the thing that gets me is an 8 or even more team. It would make more money, and people keep talking about. Well, that's what's great about college football. To me, is that every game matters. Well, to me, it's what's great about college football, and it's what's bad about college football, because
exactly
it's not true towards the end of the season that every game matters, because everybody said LSU, Ohio State, and Clemson can lose their conference championship and they're still in.
Right.
Okay. So it makes no sense to me if you're in your conference, I think it should be the conference champions first. That's my opinion. Okay. Is that Power 5 conferences, you win it, you're in. Now, if you want to put Georgia in at 6 and Utah in at 7, that's fine. But whoever loses their conference championship, they have to be the de facto 6, 7, or 8 team. And that's just because it's just not it's not right that Oklahoma can lose to Kansas State and have to fight their way in, or Utah have to fight their way in, and then LSU and Ohio State and Clemson can go, yeah, we want to win the game, we want a perfect record, but hey, we're in even if we lose. So
right.
It's not fair.
Well, even the narrative with Clemson was, I mean, they've won the last 28 games they've played in a row.
Right. Which is
crazy.
And
yeah, that's I'm starting to get a little antsy about 47 here. We need Spencer Rattler to make that in next year if it doesn't happen this year. But you look at that, and they were saying if they lost the game, they weren't going to get in. When they look like one of the most dominant teams in the country, they have done nothing to not be included on the level of an Ohio State and an LSU.
Right.
In my opinion, they've actually looked more dominant. Well, they haven't played anybody, but I just read off the list of the teams that LSU dominated, right?
Right.
It's very similar to the list of teams that Clemson dominated.
Right.
So I don't know. Like you said, man, it would make a ton of money. I think the other thing it'd do is stimulate the economy because divorce lawyers all over the country. if you had 4 quarterfinal games on a Saturday one weekend, dude, you would have. Oh my God, yeah, there would be breakups all over the place because you couldn't get the guy out of the house.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and here's the thing that got me about all day long, okay? Because I watched most of it. I'd just get up and I'd walk out, take a deep breath, flip the channels around for a little bit, watch a little bit of football, pro football, come back to it. One of the things that you heard ESPN and all these analysts talking about when they're ranking these teams all up until this point, now was common opponents. Common opponents with your conferences and stuff, the common opponents, that's what you look at, and comparable opponents. Okay, right now they have 2 teams in the playoffs that will be facing each other in the first round of the playoffs who have a common opponent. Not once did they talk about LSU and Texas and Oklahoma and Texas. Never made a comparison.
Well, they didn't this week, but I did hear it a couple of weeks ago where one announcer in the same breath said that LSU has a quality win on the road against Texas, right?
Right.
And then turns around while they're discussing Oklahoma, and Texas is a fraud, right? And I'm like, what?
Well, yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
You can't make this stuff up. And then you got Jim Mora, who had Baylor in his top whatever it was,
right,
ranked higher than Oklahoma after Oklahoma beat them already.
Right. But I mean, they never sat down and went, okay, let's face it, Texas is down again. They're not back again. But you have a common opponent, and it was, 2 weeks apart that they played each other, 3 weeks apart? Something like that. LSU wins 45-38. Oklahoma wins 34-27.
Right.
Texas put 530 yards on LSU.
Yep.
Total yards, 121 rushing and 409 passing.
Yep.
Oklahoma.
Because that was the DBU game.
Right. Right. Oklahoma puts up 511 yards, 235 passing, 276 rushing, wins the game with 2 turnovers, okay? And we all know if that first turnover doesn't happen, that game is a blowout. Because Oklahoma.
They were ready to fold the tent.
Yep. Oklahoma was manhunt. But and Texas puts up 310 total yards on Oklahoma. 310.
Yep.
And we had 11 sacks that game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody brings that up. Nobody brought that up during the show of going, hey, here's something we need to look at, guys. Oklahoma and LSU, they played Texas. Texas is terrible. We all know that. But let's look at what happened in the LSU and Texas game.
Yep.
And compare the two. Nobody has done that. Nobody has said, all it is, oh my God, I heard it 100 times, because Ed said it and Burrow said it, anytime, any place, anywhere, we'll play you in the parking lots, da-da-da-da-da-da. Mm-hmm. That's all they kept saying is LSU's ready for anybody.
Right.
Well, let's do a fair comparison. Let's sit down and look at, you have a common opponent. Sit down and break down the game of that, the film of that game and see what happened.
Right.
What Oklahoma did to Texas, what LSU did to Texas. LSU doesn't scare me. They really don't.
Well, again, like we talked about earlier on here in our conversation, is if Oklahoma doesn't turn the ball over, they can play with anybody in the country, in my mind. If you don't turn the ball over, every game they have played this year, they win by at least 2 or 3 scores. Every one of them, including Kansas State. And it's ridiculous because when you look at total offense, them and LSU are 1 yard apart on the season.
Right.
1 yard. You look at total defense, Oklahoma is number 24 and LSU is like number 32.
Right.
So they're very similar teams. And they have a common opponent. Oklahoma played them better in a rivalry game than LSU did. Now, granted, LSU's on the road, and I'll give you a little bit on that. But
Texas didn't turn on the air conditioners in the locker room.
Give me a freaking break, man. I heard that, and I'm like, man, that's just football. That was the team we played in November every year. And every year when we went up there, it was up in northeast Missouri. We'd go up there to Truman State, and those guys, the hot water was broke in the visitor locker room every time.
Every year.
Yeah, every year.
Well, my thought was, hey, you're from Louisiana. I've been to Baton Rouge many times. It's hot down there.
Right.
A hot locker room shouldn't bother you.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what got me was that nobody. Now maybe they'll do it. In the coming weeks at some point in time, somebody will sit down and go, hey, maybe we should take a look at this, promote the game a little bit.
See, I don't think they're gonna.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna. Because we've been on the other side of this narrative before as Sooners fans.
Yeah.
Because, in 2003, we're the best team in the history of college football until Darren Sproles showed up.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go in 2008, we got a record-setting offense. Nobody can slow those guys down, and we lost.
Right.
And you go on and on and on where we've always got this high-powered offense, and somebody shows up with a pretty good defense, not like a record-setting defense, but a pretty good defense, and hit us in the mouth, slowed us down a little bit, not much, but just a little bit, and we come out on the other side. And I think it's kind of our turn now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and even, we were talking, me and Caleb and Rob were talking about it, off the air and stuff. Just, well, we don't want to play Ohio State first. We don't want to play Clemson first. Get through. We'll have to play one of them in the championship and get through it. I watched Ohio State yesterday. And I've watched them before. The game I watched before was, I think, the Penn State game. They looked really good. Yesterday, they looked average. They got manhandled the first 2.5 quarters of that game. Now, granted, it ended up being lopsided, but Wisconsin came out and just couldn't sustain it. Clemson, I know Clemson is good, but what do you have to judge on? I mean, golly, Virginia was just terrible. And then you watch their other. It's literally, and like you, there's nothing they can do about their conference. It is what it is. Their conference is terrible. The UNC game, we ended up being 1 point because, and I don't blame him. Mac Brown went for 2. But it's hard to judge. You just know they're good. You just know they're a juggernaut, and you can't really look at any game where they were really, really, really tested. They blew the brakes off of Alabama last year and lost They lost half their team. I
They
know,
did.
yeah, and they haven't missed a beat so far this year. So,
yeah, they're a really good team. I think they got the Butkus Award winner this year too. I think.
yeah,
And
I think, and we talked about it earlier before we got you on. I think this is the best team in the playoffs that Oklahoma has had. It's the best.
I would, as far as overall team,
Right.
yes, because the defense far and away is better. If you put this defense with Baker Mayfield 2 years ago,
Oh yeah,
then yeah, that's a no-brainer right there. And I truly believe that you might give Alabama a run for their money last year if you put this defense with Kyler Murray last year.
yeah,
Because the offense finally got on track and started scoring points. It's just once Oklahoma got within striking distance, they couldn't get a stop, and they kept running that slant until I almost wanted to puke. But, but it kind of is what it is there. But, I don't know if anybody beats Clemson last year on that night because they were so good. But, it's offensively they're not as good as those two units were, but I don't know that anybody was as good as those two offenses were.
yeah. But I mean, that's an interesting point, because are we not as good, or are we just different than what we were the last 2 years? Because
here's what I want to say about that. Sorry to bump in.
No, you're fine.
I mean, living in Kansas City, or in the Kansas City metro area, everybody here are Chiefs fans by default, right? Early in the year, it was Patrick Mahomes mania, and it still is here. And they started getting hurt, right?
Right.
They, Eric Fisher, their left tackle gets hurt. Mitchell Schwartz, their right tackle, gets hurt. One of their guards get hurt. And then guess what happens? Patrick Mahomes gets hurt because nobody can protect him.
Right.
I mean, they're signing guys off the street left and right. And what happens then is the talking heads that make all this money at ESPN, they wrote them off, right?
Right.
They wrote them off. They're not that good. They're not going to the Super Bowl now. And meanwhile, what they did is they were able to hang on. And Matt Moore comes in, and they start getting a little bit healthier and healthier and healthier. And now all of a sudden they're 9-4, and they go up today and they beat the New England Patriots in Foxborough.
Right.
Right. So, and granted, New England's down a little bit, but it's still the New England Patriots, and they got one of the best defenses in the league. And you look at Oklahoma, what has happened up front this year is Adrian Ely went out of the game yesterday hurt. I think he has played as good offensively up there on that line as anybody this year.
Right.
Creed Humphrey's been banged up all year long. Eric Swenson has been hurt with that shoulder. And so up front, you are beat all to hell, right? And I don't think anything could be more important than these 3 weeks that you get off leading up to this game.
Right.
You got Kennedy Brooks hurt. You got several guys that are dinged up that they're really going to reap the benefit of being able to be off 3 weeks. And I guess the parallel that I'm trying to draw between the Chiefs and the Sooners is everybody is so quick to write teams off when they show chinks in the armor or they show, a little bit of weakness. But the common thread between both of them right now is that up front on the offensive line, they've been hurt.
Right.
Now, if you get that offensive line healthy and you get a healthy Eric Swenson, you get a healthy Adrian Ely, Creed's able to heal up, they're going to be ready to rock and roll. They're going to be good to go. And I think, like you said, yes, I think this team is a little bit different. And I think that I got a feeling, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I have a feeling that Riley has been holding something back going into this playoff. And you saw it a little bit yesterday to where you hit Stogner, he has a big game. You hit Braden Willis down the left sideline. He ripped off like a 30-yard gain. He did a lot of stuff in the flats and down the sidelines. That wheel route that he hit with
CD
Lamb.
Yeah.
You got a lot of things going, and I think that Riley's got a lot more in the toolbox that he's going to let fly, and he's got a defense now that can back him up.
Right.
I think he's going to go for it myself.
Well, see, and here's why I say, the thing is, like, are we not as good or are we just different? Because this is what we talked about going into the season, and everybody was excited. I mean, everybody. Okay, what's Lincoln Riley going to do with a 6'2", 225-pound linebacker that plays quarterback? Okay,
right.
And I think we're seeing what he's doing with him. He's running the ball. I mean, some of the stuff, I don't think he stays in the pocket as long as what he should. But you've drawn out some plays on Trench Warfare Report to where they're reading the middle linebacker with the guy going across the middle. You know what I mean? You know the play I'm talking about? Yeah. And I've seen it a bunch of times. I've seen it on ESPN, them breaking it down. To where the offensive lineman, the guard, is reading the linebacker. If he goes with the cross, it's a draw. And there's no communication. You know what I mean? It's just the guard sees him, I go, and Jalen goes. There's a lot of quarterback run in this offense, and I think some of it too in the passing. There's probably more than what we want, and probably more than what Lincoln Wright wants. But I'm one that if Lincoln's not happy with what's going on out there, Jalen's not playing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, Lincoln's job, he's paid a lot of money to win football games. And if, people are like, oh my God, why is he running the quarter? He's carried the ball 190 times and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, we all wanted to know what Lincoln would do with Jalen Hurts. Now we're not happy with what Lincoln's doing with Jalen Hurts. That's us as fans. You know what I mean? That it's
sure.
The passing runs, I don't think is part of the plan, but I think that's some of a young offensive line, a banged up offensive line. He's got to move.
Yep.
But all these quarterback draws and as much as he runs, it's part of what Lincoln's doing with him. He's big, he's strong, he's taken the licks, and he's kind of learned to get down a little bit here the last couple of games. He's not.
Yeah.
But. Well, they were talking about it in the game the other day or on Saturday. What's he squat? 500 and something pounds. I mean, he's strong enough to do it. And I just think we're used to seeing, as Sooners, we're used to seeing the flash of Kyler and the flash of Baker. Jalen don't have the flash. You know what I mean? He's just a big guy, and he's going to lower his shoulder, and he's going to run up in there. The frustrating thing with me about this offense and with, I don't understand that counter trap that we run out of the shotgun with Brooks, that every time him and Stevenson ran it, they got 10 yards. I don't know why we're not running that more.
Well, in years past, what has happened with Riley without the quarterback run game aspect of it is he would keep one of those guys in the backfield. And on Stevenson's touchdown yesterday in overtime, you saw it when they brought CeeDee Lamb in motion and they put him on the back end of it and they had him seal off the backside. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what Riley is doing with that look is when he doesn't have that player that's lined up where CeeDee Lamb was, he's running a zone read look off of it. So they read that defensive end on the back end, and if he goes with Kennedy Brooks or Stevenson or whoever it is, then they pull the ball and they run it. Right? With Hurts. But I would much rather see them go with that two-back look and have one of them run across, and we call it a switchblade look, where that if you're in a two-back set, have that one guy go and kick out that backside defensive end and just give the damn ball. Because this week on the Trench Warfare Report, you'll see it to where the middle of the defense was wide open all day long because Baylor was stacking 2 and 3 guys on the outside, and they were basically daring Oklahoma to run the ball in the middle.
I know.
Because Jalen hurt them so bad in that first game in the second half. I think he had something like 30 carries or whatever it was. where they said he's not going to beat us. We're going to make Kennedy Brooks and Stevenson beat us, or whoever else they put back there.
Right.
And finally, you texted me yesterday that once they started running in the middle, Stevenson reeled off like a 25-yard gain, and then it was there.
Yeah,
it was there on the
all
first
day
scoring play. All day long it was there. And I think what we may see, I could be wrong, but I think what we may see is Riley just completely depend on those running backs going into this LSU game and not run Jalen Hurts all that much at all, because the one thing that those two guys haven't done is turn the ball over.
Right.
Whereas Jalen has, and that's the one thing against any of these teams that we may see in this playoff, you cannot do is turn the football over.
Right.
Because we won't be able to come back from it.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, Baylor, I saw it early on. Baylor took the outside away from us, even with our running backs. We couldn't get the edge.
Yes.
Period.
Couldn't get the edge.
And so I'm like, okay, they're giving us the middle, take the middle. And again, me and Rob and you were doubting the greatest mind in college football, I know. Lincoln Riley going, what are you doing? It's funny. It's fun during the game, but then when you sit back and look at it after the game going, yeah,
yeah. Well, and to his credit, I think we may have saw a little bit of a maturation of him, because in years past, he would have kept doing what he did, right? But now that he has a defense, he can let off the throttle a little bit. And once Oklahoma started turning the ball over, you could see him tighten up.
Right.
And the more I think about it, as I step back, you wonder about his thought process, and you think, okay, is he over on the sideline thinking, okay, we can beat this team without keeping our foot on the throttle all day long, right?
Right.
Because like you and I said earlier, without those two fluke plays on defense, they're not even close. You put the game away in the third quarter, really.
Right.
Except for those two fluke plays. So I don't know if he did that or not. We'll never know until he's as old as Barry Switzer, and hopefully I'm still around and, he tells stories like Barry does.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. But thank God we have a defense now that he can do that if that's the case.
Yeah. And, it's a deal where, when he does decide to, if he's going to pull it back a little bit, which I think he's learned he shouldn't as much as what he did. But I think now with a defense that he trusts that can get a stop, the Georgia game in the Rose Bowl, he shouldn't have took his foot off the gas because we didn't have a defense to back it up, and now that he has a defense that's not only going to, the defense is doing themselves favors. The defense is getting off the field in 3 plays on their own. Our defense is hardly breaking a sweat in the first half. And, the fact that Lincoln has this, and the thing that's frustrating to me, I want to get your take on this too. We're all fans. We all look in the past. We all look into the future. But I want to get your take on a lot of fans, that not a lot, some fans, but there's a lot of fans that seems like could agree with it, that go into this deal of, well, if Rattler was here in January, he'd been the starting quarterback, and we'd be a more rounded team. And some people even weren't even in January, is put Rattler in and let him start getting the experience. The best thing for Spencer Rattler was Jalen Hurts coming to Oklahoma, because it gives him a year to mature, to learn the system, and he's not a freshman behind a completely inexperienced line. Do you agree with that, or are you like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it depends on the kid. I know that one of the reasons that Spencer Rattler wanted to stay in high school is he wanted to go to his prom. He wanted to graduate with his friends. He was, and hey, that's, I don't know as a young kid that I would have been able to say that to Oklahoma, right?
Right.
So kudos to him for that. I think that when you look at him physically, definitely spending a year in an off-season Benny Wiley's strength and conditioning program and Coach Tiff with her nutrition and everything else. I think that's good for him. Now, between the ears and that rocket that he has attached to his shoulder, I think he has all the tools, if he stays healthy, to be one of the best to ever play the position at Oklahoma.
I agree.
And that's pretty damn high praise considering the guys that have statues outside the stadium and 2 more guys that don't have their statues yet. Right?
And a couple of guys that could have their statues out there. I mean, it's just so. And then coming in behind him is probably somebody better.
Well, it's going to take a lot. I mean, Vandergrift's the real deal from everything that I read on Twitter, because being with PFB for so long, I mean, I follow recruiting guys all over the country and just listen to little tidbits. And it's extremely rare that you get some of these SEC homer writers that are in Georgia that are going to give an Oklahoma commit praise like they do the Vandergrift kid.
Right. I mean, I heard the other day that they're talking better than Trevor Lawrence ever was in high school,
which is insane to me because how can you be better than Sunshine Ronnie Bass's kid?
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
But to answer your question, I think it is good. I think that my gut tells me that Creed Humphrey is going to come back next year, and just because he's been hurt all year, I think he wants to win a national championship. And I think that you're going to have 4 out of your 5 starting offensive linemen back next year. And really, if you count Swenson in there, if he's able to hold off Stacey Wilkins on that left side, which is going to be the battle of the spring, in my opinion, then you're going to have one of the best offensive linemen or one of the best offensive lines, if not the best, again, in college football. And then you couple that with the fact that you just got Reggie Grimes,
right,
who is going to be a household name on defense. You could get Alfred Collins, who, in my opinion, if they get Alfred Collins this year, is going to be the most important recruit in this class. That kid is unbelievably good. He's coming in at 6'6", 285 as a defensive lineman.
Jeez.
And he doesn't look like he's 6'6", 285. He looks like a guy that's like 215 is how he moves. And they've got some horsepower coming in that they can plug in and play with. If they end up getting a Harrington kid at safety, they get Norwood back next year, who's been hurt all year. There's so many pieces that just, unless everybody gets hurt in the off season, which I don't think they will, but, and I hope I just didn't jinx it. But if, I think next year shapes up really well. So long story short, I think Spencer could be, I think it's perfect the way it's setting up. And I think sitting behind a guy that has the character and the professionalism of the Jalen Hurts, it's probably just what the doctor ordered.
Oh yeah. And I'm not saying this, negatively. Okay. Because I have the utmost respect for him and his parents with whatever that happened out there last December. Okay. Mm-hmm. Whatever he did, don't care, not my business. Sure. But for his parents to not throw a fit, you know what I mean? Because that's rare in these days. Our kids are entitled, you know what I mean? It's,
right.
But he, this is a kid who cost his team probably a state championship because they were one of the top teams because he did something stupid. Okay.
Yep.
That's why I'm saying the best thing for Spencer Rattler was to come in behind somebody like Jalen Hurts. Probably wouldn't have been great him coming in behind somebody like Baker. Okay. But with Jalen, somebody who is, I'm all business. I'm here for one reason. He said that all along. I'm here to win a championship. That's what I came to Oklahoma for. And to prepare him this way, not saying that you can't have fun, and not that and I think Spencer's going to be a fun quarterback to watch, and he's going to have an attitude because that's him. But I think it was great for him to come in behind somebody to go, okay, here's my attitude and here's my fun side, but when it's business, it's business. And it's just to me. I get frustrated, when I see those posts, and being a fan podcast, I try not to argue with people. I try to hear their point of view. But when somebody throws out, put Spencer in, let him get the experience. You want to throw the season away, because that's essentially what you're doing. We don't throw seasons away at Oklahoma,
Yeah.
And that was talked 3 weeks ago. Put Spencer in, and then people, even with this, and I don't get it because we just beat the number 7 team in the country in our conference championship to take the fourth spot, and you're going to complain that we would be better if Spencer was in the game. I don't see it, because you can't say that. You don't know what it would have been, but this is the team we got. This is what they've done. Support them with what we have, because I think this team may shock. I really think they're going to shock people.
Come on, man. Just go ahead and spit it out. Don't hold back. Come on.
I really think they're going to shock people the next 2 games. I really do. I think this is a more complete team, and like you said, they're talented, and right now they're getting slighted. Okay, look at what they did to Oklahoma State. Okay, Oklahoma State is not LSU, but you know what? Gundy went out there and said it's a one-man show.
Yep.
Okay, and look what happened. Go look at the stats. It was a lot of man show, okay, because everybody got the ball.
And what's crazy about it is they held probably the Doak Walker winner, unless Jonathan Taylor wins it. He'll probably be number 2 if he doesn't win it, in Chuba Hubbard.
Right.
They held him to 101 yards.
Right.
They held him to 25 yards in the second half when the game was still in doubt.
Right. And I think these guys – and I love this about Lincoln. And I know Dabo does this thing. They have their pizza party. That was great. Ohio State was sitting there watching their I don't know what LSU was doing, but Oklahoma, it was their day off. They weren't there at the stadium. Lincoln, they're having to interview him on the tarmac out here at Max Westheimer because he's fixing to hit the road for a 4-state trip. Oklahoma is still doing business because it's not about just right now. It's about future, and that's what I love about what Lincoln does. But I mean, these guys are talented. They're playing better than and they're playing with a more rounded group than they have in the last couple of years. LSU hasn't scared me at all, and I think Oklahoma's going to beat LSU, and it may not be as close as what people think. It's probably going to be close, but I mean, it's going to be a slobber knocker. I'm telling you, I think you're going to see a game like the second half of the Baylor on both sides of the ball. It's just going to be now.
Well, here's the one thing that nobody has been talking about, whether they cover OU or whether they are national media, and that is how much tougher that this defense has gotten mentally in the last 3 or 4 games.
Yes, I mean,
because you look at the first 2 or 3 games that Oklahoma really started struggling once they had turnovers. What happened? If they had a turnover in the red zone or something like happened yesterday, it was an automatic touchdown.
Yeah.
If a team got within the 20-yard line, the guys in their mind, they're like, oh, crap, here we go again. They lose their mental edge, and now they give up a touchdown. Right?
Or
yesterday,
or the long pass where Brown ran him down.
They wouldn't
have ran him down. It'd have been like, oh, crap.
Well, not only would they not have run him down, but they wouldn't have stood up in 3 plays and made him kick a field goal.
Right.
Right? And then you had the turnover right there where both of the turnovers were inside on the negative half of the field.
Right.
The first one, they only gave up a
field goal.
But then the other one, the guy had to have a circus throw that barely got over Deshaun White's fingertips.
How he didn't intercept that, I don't know.
Oh, I still don't know. So, I mean, there are some of those, like, what the hell plays yesterday, too. You know, but, in years past, I'm one of the few people that actually called the fact that we were going to beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
Way back when. And, I'm always a homer. I'm always going to pick the Sooners, but deep down, sometimes I don't feel like they're going to win. But I got a good feeling about this one.
Yeah. Oh, but
I got a good feeling.
I got a great feeling about it, but I'm still going to be a nervous wreck come game day. So
okay, so here's my one deal. I don't give a damn if there is 5 feet of snow at your house. If you are not on the rally patio, you're in for it.
Oh, I'll be there. Believe me. But see, that's the thing. The rally patio can only come and play if it's you just can't go to the rally patio. You know what I mean? I can't go.
So
out.
It's like a bullpen thing. You got to go to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like I can't just second half I'm gonna go to the rally patio. We got to need the rally patio. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Gotcha. It's. And I felt like at the end of that game we need a rally patio. I need to be there. And, my wife was sitting out, I'm sitting in my normal spot on the couch, and I said, it's rally patio. And she just kind of giggled. And
right.
I went over there. And, here's the other thing is Caleb's pretty much going to have to go to the game from now on, the Big 12 championship game, because he wasn't going to go. He scored free tickets and free hotel.
Wow.
With a buddy of his that he played high school basketball with, so he's going to have to go to it every year from now on.
Yeah, he has to go now.
Yeah, but no, I just went out there and I stood in the same spot. I mean, when we scored, I didn't jump up and down. I didn't do anything. I was putting all my energy into it. My inner energy. But yeah, believe me, if there's 4 foot of snow, I will still be standing out there if I feel like we need it. I hope we don't need it. I hope it's just a line up and get up 14 on them and just stay there. So
yeah.
Oh, but man, is there anything else you want to throw out to the people out there?
No, other than to ask for their business, man. I really, Trench Warfare Report. For less than you can go to for less than you probably spend at Quick Trip every day. I'm charging less than half of what most of the sites are. I think we're $4.99 a month, and you're going to get all of the breakdowns that you can handle. You're going to get leading up to the bowl game. This week is going to be all Big 12 championship breakdown. Now, once the signing day happens, I'm going to be breaking down all the signees, all the guys that sign in the off season. Any commits, offers that come out, I'll be breaking them down. And the other thing I plan on doing in the off season is I'm going to go back and I'm going to break down all the Sooner Classic games from the 70s, the
Sweet.
60s, the 80s. The national championship game from 1975 when Oklahoma played Michigan. The 85 game against Penn State, 2000 Orange Bowl against Florida State. Any game that I can get my hands on the film, I'm going to break that down in the off season. So just because the season isn't out there, if you're on the fence and you don't think, hey, I want to spend $5 a month, what is he going to do? If you're a Sooner junkie, you want to watch old school wishbone stuff, man, I'm going to be breaking it down. So, trenchwarfarereport.com, come check it out. And if you haven't signed up for these guys' podcasts, they're the best out there, and they're a lot of fun to listen to.
Hey, man, we appreciate it. And your stuff is, man, it's Rob every now and then it's funny. What was it? You some of the terminology you use. I'll get a text from Rob that what was it? The one turned him into pancake syrup, and I'll just get a text from Rob that says pancake syrup. And on a Tuesday, and I'm like, oh. And I was like, what? Oh, Rob's, because I would have already watched it or something. So we just text each other your sayings every now and then. When we know what we're talking about, but it takes us a second. It's like,
right.
That's JY. That's what JY calls. But
I'm about as full of it as a Christmas goose, so I got a few of them. I remember I was sitting on the couch the other day and I was breaking down some film and I was talking about Sean Oakman that played for Baylor, and everybody was so high on him because he was a big defensive lineman that had a six-pack and all that. And I was talking about him, and I said, he looked like Tarzan, he plays like Jane, and the wife's about lost it. She never heard that one before, so I got a few of them.
Yeah, but there's and the thing is too, it's and I'm trying to say it for not making it sound dumb, but it's like football for dummies. I mean, it really you break it down, and I'm not, believe me, I don't know half as much about football as you do, but I got a little bit of football in me, and what I love about watching it, and if you think you have a little bit of football in you when you're watching JY break it down, you'll eventually go, ooh, yeah, okay. There's,
and honestly, the reason that I started doing this is because, I love my wife and everything, but she doesn't know jack about football. So whenever I try to break this stuff down, I have people like her in mind. And
right.
Believe it or not, one of the first people that signed up was a lady. And
oh, really?
So, yeah, so she emails me all the time. So I'll give a shout out to Miss Judah if she's out there listening. But she, is always asking questions, and it's crazy because she asks more questions than anybody, and I love that because at heart I'm a teacher, and I think, this is my way because I wasn't able to get into coaching a long time ago. This is my way of coaching people up without having my own team,
Yeah, and it's great stuff. It's simplistic, but not, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to make it sound simplistic. It's just
no, it is. I'm a simple person.
For the fans out there that really want to know what's going on in the, and understand what's going on inside the trenches, it's perfect because that's where the games are won. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think about your running backs or anything else. Those big hogs in the middle, and we were talking earlier, linemen got the greatest, you got hogs. What else are they called? The
pancake platoon.
Yeah, I mean they've got all the greatest nicknames, and nobody
big uglies.
Yeah, the big uglies, and all the other
prime
units.
Time flying,
all the other units out there that well, it's the running backs, it's the receivers, but everybody, everybody has their an offensive name. We got the Speed D, which I'm still not liking the Speed D name. I think we need something better, but it's what they call Grinch. But the other thing before I let you go is, now I'm big on names, and Oklahoma's getting some of the best names out there right now in college football. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We got this guy, what's his name? Reggie Grimes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a great football name. Okay.
Grimes. It is.
Yeah. I love Reggie Grimes just simply because his name. Nick Benito.
Not because he's 6'4", 240 and ran a 4.25.
Okay, but I'm going to
Well, no, that was in his short shuttle. That was his short shuttle, not his 40. But yeah, he's special.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that's a football name. You know what I mean? You think a guy named Reggie Grimes can play football. And one of my favorite names that was recruited last year, I think I sent you the text, Nick Benito.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nick Benito is either going to take you down in a football game, or he's going to, shoot you on the streets of, in Brooklyn,
Atlantic City. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
well, my wife's full on Italian, so I mean, she's like a super Italian because she's Sicilian. So I mean, it's we've been watching that Irishman show, so she's
haven't
got
watched
it all
that.
working.
I have not watched that.
You
yet.
should. It's very good.
Yeah, Caleb keeps telling me about it, and then like 4 hours long.
It's 3.5, but on Netflix you can pause it.
Yeah,
we had to take 2 intermissions, but I'm a mafia aficionado, and I've read the book too. So
oh, really?
It's interesting stuff.
So,
yeah.
So you were a Sopranos fan, huh?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I love
it. What's wild about that? A little side note. I know nobody wants to hear this, but I'm gonna tell them anyway.
Yeah.
When I worked up at the Newark airport, probably 2011. In the beginning of The Sopranos, when they're showing all the landmarks in Jersey and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All of that stuff was within 2 miles of where I worked.
Ah.
And so you could go check it out. The restaurant that gets blown up in the first season, it was a place I used to go to lunch all the time. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. See, and next year when he comes around, you'll have to get down here and meet South Jersey Bill. Big fan. He comes, and he's South Jersey. I'm telling you. Okay.
Yeah. He's down by South Brunswick, I think.
Yeah, I mean
Fort Philly down there.
We had him here in the podcast palace last year when he was here, and I said, from New Jersey, and it was like that quick. He goes, South Jersey. And I'm like, ooh, there's a difference. Right. And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, okay, don't
Big
shank
time.
me.
Right.
But
he'll take you out to the Pine Barrens.
Yeah. And what's funny is I love him to death, and I love his wife, Yvette, but Yvette's from the Bronx.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, Yvette scares me and Rob both. Love her to death. She's sweet, awesome. But I'm like, I cross this lady, cement shoes, the whole deal. She and I told you we're going up to the Army game next year, and the guys are going to do their thing, and she's going to take Teresa back into somewhere into New York and for some real pizza and whatever else there is to do. So I may end up having to get my wife out of jail in New York or South Jersey or something come next year, because Yvette just said we're going to go have a girls' night when the guys are all doing their football stuff. So
if I could give you any advice about New York or Jersey, always grease the doorman. Always grease the doorman. Dude, if you grease the doorman, the cops didn't see you. If the cops come around, I mean, he's got you. Throw the guy a $20 bill, you're royalty. Yeah. You're good.
Well, hey, Jay White, man, it's been great again. Appreciate it, and we'll do it again soon, buddy, all right?
Dude, I got to get a score prediction.
Prediction. I'm saying 38-27, Oklahoma.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, because
bold prediction.
This is why. I'm going to even back up all I've asked this defense to do the last 2 years, and they finally started doing it with the exception of one game, and we lost that game. Pretty much the exception is to get 5 stops a game and hold our opponents under 27 points. We do that, we win every game. Who did we not do that with, really, that really got out of hand was Kansas State. So I think this defense can hold anybody under 30 points, and our offense is going to score over 30 points. So that's my prediction. I think we're going to hold them. I am looking at the common opponent, and the common opponent was Texas.
There you go.
So, what's your prediction?
Oh man, you're going to put me on the spot.
Well, you just put me. Really? You're going to go, give me a prediction. Okay, now I got to go by?
Yeah. Mine comes with an asterisk.
Okay.
If Oklahoma does not turn over the ball, okay? If they don't turn over the ball, they win the game. Okay?
Right.
If they turn the ball over, they lose.
So you're not going to give us
the number that comes up in my mind is something like 34-31, 38-35. I think that this LSU offense is as good as we will have seen.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is your Heisman Trophy winner. I know one of the offensive linemen for the left tackle for LSU, got to know him when he was a sophomore, and I was hoping Beadenbow would go after him. Kid named Sadiq Charles, a great kid. Probably the best left tackle in the country. Started as a true freshman for LSU. They're good everywhere offensively. Yeah. They are. They're good everywhere, but their defense, as much as they want to talk about how their DBU and all that, Stingley is amazing. That kid's got 6 interceptions. He's good. Don't throw the ball that way, right?
Right.
But I think there's stuff to be had in the middle of the field. I think that the tight ends, if they use them, Jeremiah Hall, Stogner, Willis, and even CeeDee Lamb, if Riley lines them up in some creative formations, I think could have a heyday in the middle of the field. So, and I think that defense is going to play lights out.
I do too.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Grinch does with 3 weeks to prepare.
Yep. It's going to be fun. All right, man. We will catch you next time, all right?
All right. Sounds great, man.
Right.
Thanks again.
Boomer, JY.
Boomer.
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. Sooner Football Fans Podcast is hosted by Rob Nixon, Terry Long, and occasionally Caleb Long. It is produced at the beautiful Podcast Palace in Norman, Oklahoma. Follow us on Twitter at SoonerFBFans and like our Facebook page at Facebook.com/Sooner Football Fans. and visit our website at www.soonerfootballfans.com to read our blogs and keep up with our tailgating activities. Boomer Sooner, everyone.